Emily won't let me put a Emily cam.
I mean, let
Just
you
don't
like,
even ask permission, man. Just
yeah,
do
like
it.
she even gonna know? She don't watch the show.
The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, indeed? Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
It's weird seeing myself in that intro because there's like nothing behind me. Like
Right.
I've wasted a lot of money in the short time since I started doing the videos.
Invested.
Yeah, okay. That's what I keep trying to tell the wife. We'll see if it works.
Next, he is the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
L'chaim.
Damn, Mo, that's a nice pimp cup.
Yes, and it's blasphemous.
He needs to fill that with some of my Oz flavored wine.
Oz flavored wine.
Right in time for Pride.
Right in time for Pride. I was like, what makes the wine Oz flavor? But then I was like, you know what? I don't want to know.
Yeah, where do you think the yeast came from?
The yeast. He stepped all over the grapes. I Love Lucy style.
Listen, as for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum.
Did each grape individually between my toes, like.
And his butt cheeks.
Took me 5 days.
He fermented most of them in his butthole.
We had a great show potentially, but
you keep asking questions.
That's why the logo looks like butthole.
But not anymore. The show's already been bad. The show's already turned bad.
We owe YouTube money now.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, we got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about the latest movie from DC, The Flash. And we're going to be talking to you all about a couple comics from DC, Green Lantern and Titans, both #1. So we're going to talk about all that. And of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is. You can let us know what it is you want to talk about in just a moment. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. And we should go ahead and hear from our intern, I guess, at this point, to tell you how to get down with
Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern. Appreciate you. So yeah. So great show. Jump on fantasticforum.live. You could be the 5th member of Fantastic Forum, or you could jump into the chat room. We'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show. So either or, whatnot, all that. Fellas, we got a amazing slate of DC properties to talk about today. But
why do you say it like that? Like you're not excited. Like the day we made watch Transformers.
No, I'm excited to talk about all of these, honestly. But what I will say is, it wouldn't be me if I didn't try to inject a little bit of Marvel into things. So before we get into all that, Did you all see that Craven trailer?
No, I saw an Animal Man trailer.
Look, please discuss and expound.
Well,
Like-
it's Animal Man because even instead of connecting to the red, it's connecting to the brown. The shit. Like, not that animal life force. But go ahead, Oz.
It,
I didn't mean to come at you like a
it
lion.
was like the easiest thing for Sony to do. Because they are trying to like, this is all MCU or similar to MCU or whatever. There's already that special herb or flower or whatever that Black Panther takes. Craven, as far as I remember, like took something like that, right? And he basically became peak human. So like everything is already there. You don't have to say Wakanda. You can just say, hey, well, I found this flower or this herb in when I was in Africa, you're hunting that lion, and you know that's how he got his power. But
Realistically, with Craven, you don't even have to do any of that. Like, you can do the flower thing, you could do the serum thing, like the cartoon. But realistically, he's just a really like he was already like wrestling gorillas before that. Like that's part of his thing, you know. He was a big game hunter. He was always going for a challenge, and so it's all with Craven. I think most of his power is like attitude, you know. And they got a good actor to do it, but it's just not. When I saw him and like in Russell Crowe in action, I'm like, dude, this could be just like a good Wolverine movie. Like all the fighting of people and shit, the mob people. It's like this is like Wolverine 2, just in like Russia and Africa. Like you got your two Wolverines, you got Old Man Logan there, and you got your regular ass Wolverine right there, and you would have a great Wolverine movie.
honestly, Russell Crowe felt more like Craven than Craven.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
And that's exactly what I said. Like Craven should be what Russell Crowe's doing. What this guy's doing is a weak ass Animal Man.
it's Gen Z Craven, man.
Again, it's this thing where Sony is taking too much or trying too hard to make this fool like I don't even know if I could say anti-hero, because it looks like he just might just be like a hero with an edge. You know, as opposed to like,
well, because the way he's like just completely murdering people.
Yeah,
And that's why that's another problem I have with this movie is that it looks like it might be a good movie. It just shouldn't be called Craven.
100%. It looks way better than Morbius did.
Mhm.
So, you know, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's Craven. And, you know, especially, yeah. Like, I'm just like, it's so weird how they just like the little, like even in the trailer with they showed the little lion blood mixing in. And I'm just like, really? Is that what we're going to do? This was infused with lion's blood?
Realistically,
The lion's
this
blood.
movie-
The lion's blood gives him the power of all animals.
I don't know what animals he has. I don't know what powers.
Well,
Well, to say
has-
like part of what makes him a hunter is that his connection to all animals, you know, and it's like, but really, you know, he had that, and that's what I was telling Oz before you came back, Larry. It was like part of what makes Craven the character isn't so much a power, is part of it, like his attitude, you know, like he was that person before he got powered, and then he got powered, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. And so,
actually, he might even be it. Like this movie probably would have been more badass if he's doing all these things without powers.
Yeah,
like if he's just a dude fucking up all these people that messed with him, and then he gets
like John Wick
when he gets the powers when he steps up to Spider-Man, if that ever happens. Or
I think they teased it because he goes into a giant spider's lair or some shit.
Nah, I think that's just for the nerds to be like, oh look, there's spiders because he's a Spider-Man villain. Look, they did spiders.
I think
that's all you're gonna get.
Why are they Indian? All the Spider-Man fans?
Because I'm bad at voices.
There it is. So yeah, I was just like, wow, like I can't believe that this is where we're at with this Craven. But
can you not?
I mean, but honestly, it's not that bad. It's not. like it doesn't look as bad as Morbius, and it
No, I
doesn't look
agree.
as bad like as what we thought like Silver and Black would be, you know. And the Rhino's in it. The Rhino's like a good guy to have him fight, although I don't like his transformation thing. But,
We gotta wait till we see what his face looks like. Because
Yeah.
I think I
Listen,
saw something, but it might have been like fan art.
I'm just shocked that Moses is the one with the hopeful disposition about this. Like,
Yeah, well,
you're like, ah.
I'm a bit fucked up in the head right now because it's shit happening with my life. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
cried,
hey, I'm not mad at
right
you.
during the Flash. All right?
Yeah, I understand.
Because you were watching it, or because there was an emotional. Like,
Hey,
there's different reasons why you would cry. during the Flash.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. So, what were the people in chat saying, Jay?
Tommy Stone Q says, hello, great streamers.
Hello, Tommy.
Taken Tugboat says, with the movie and the Spider-Man game, it's a good year for Craven. All he needs is a comic. Tiger Claw says Sony is going to continue to turn Spider-Man villains into anti-heroes, which is the trend a lot lately.
I don't, but that's the thing where, I mean, it's not like Spider-Man doesn't have a whole set of villains that are actually anti-heroes, right? I mean, you know, like Punisher got introduced in Spider-Man, right?
Yeah,
Then-
but we don't have the rights for that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying is there's a precedent for it, Venom as well, but not in the way that
Fuck that out.
right, the way that Sony has made it. And that's the thing where it's like, it's crazy because I'm like right now, there's literally a Venom Lethal Protector 2 comic out right now that is like nailing what Venom was like in that moment, but still writing with like modern comic sensibilities to a degree, you know, and like it's literally walking a fine line. And I'm just like, man, this is like really perfect the way that it's being done. And it's blowing my mind because I've read comics that have tried to do that. Like there was an X-Men book that tried to do that not that long ago. And I was like, no, it just feels like an old comic and not necessarily a good one. You know, this is not that. And I'm just like, how can somebody get the essence of what Venom was like in that era in a comic and just be like awesome with it? But all these, like this studio that has all these resources can't nail that. It's just weird to me. And I don't know, like Craven could be an anti-hero too, but I don't know if this is the way to do it, but we'll see.
Just to answer Tiger Claw's question of what other Spider-Man villain will get his own movie, he suggests the Scorpion, Doc Ock, and going along with they're trying to make these villains into like anti-heroes.
And Sinister Six.
The most I guess not impressive thing. One way to kind of show up Marvel a little bit and DC at the same time and do another movie where you get to make a villain into an anti-hero is to do a Black Cat movie. You show DC is scared to touch Catwoman after the Halle Berry fiasco. Like it's gonna be a while before they ever go back to that well.
But
no, but also
they have
like
a
what's
great
the
Catwoman
tagline-
already.
The tagline will be like grab him by the pussy.
That could happen, which is hilarious. But they got an amazing Catwoman with whatchamacallit, right?
But
right now.
Is she gonna get her own movie?
Oh, well, but
That's
she
what
could.
I'm saying a Black Cat movie. They're not. They're not like I would see a Catwoman movie with her with that character.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that world.
I don't see that happening.
No,
Yeah.
well, that's crazy.
Well,
But
they
you think a
canceled-
Black Cat? Oh, go ahead.
Because they canceled the Gotham PD one they were gonna do like that, right?
I don't know if it got canceled or not. I mean, is that one of the things that kind of slipped through the cracks because of the change
I think
in?
so, but they're keeping Penguin.
They're keeping Penguin, yeah, because Colin Farrell's attached to it, and
If
people
he's
love that character, loved his portrayal of the character, loved his acting. So that'd be dumb to although they've done dumber things.
if you can't if you don't give Colin Farrell something to do, he's gonna be back on the stuff.
Yeah.
What we need
I
is
don't
a
know.
cardiac movie.
Say it again, Jay.
What we need is a cardiac movie.
God damn
Yeah.
it, Jay. This is why we're friends. I literally was about to say that. Like, I was literally about to say, what if they want an anti-hero movie, what they should do is Cardiac. And I'm like, and that's why I was like, I had to make sure that you said what I thought you said, because I was like, no, get out of my head, Jay. I love it. Cardiac would be an amazing anti-hero Spider-Man movie to make. And, but cats are like, I don't know. Look, first of all, it would have to be a black lead, and cats get funny about
But
that.
not with
still
Sony.
sometimes.
Not with Sony.
Oh, it was so what is it? Are they gonna just cast a random white dude as Cardiac?
Yeah. Like Marvel was a woman. Like, at this point, they don't like. I mean, you saw that Let There Be Carnage. Like, they don't have. I think the last thing they want is racial accuracy. Like, that's the last. They don't want any accuracy in their comic book movies. Yeah.
I don't know, man. If you take the
Well,
friggin'
you can't make him a white guy because then people will get mad. So you got to make him like Mexican or something.
I don't know. I just gotta feel like,
But realistically, they have one they could use because they could use Tarantula if they do like a Latino anti-hero villain movie.
I
yeah,
like Tiger Claw's idea of a Doc Ock movie, but he becomes superior. But you need to have like Tom Holland on board with that too.
Nah,
Listen,
they can literally have their own like mini Dr. Octopus universe with their own Spider-Man. Like, that's the beauty of Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Like, he can just make one and then connect it later, figure out how to connect it later, but just concentrate on making a good movie, recast another Spider-Man. You can have a different Spider-Man movie every year with a different actor. Like, that's the
Listen,
beauty of like these movies tapping into this whole this whole multiverse shit, making it easier for people to really like kind of take in. It is really like gonna help these, but these people don't appreciate it.
Mhm.
I honestly would not be interested in a Dr. Octopus movie unless it was Liv.
Okay.
You could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
You
done
didn't
too.
like Superior Spider-Man?
I'm not. I have no.
You didn't read Superior Spider-Man.
I read a little bit. I read when he met the dwarf, and is that what we're calling them these days?
No,
We just
sir.
call her Maria.
Absolutely not.
What?
We just call her Maria.
That's what she
No,
answers to, Jay.
she's a something.
Her name is Maria.
Little person?
Okay, a little person.
Wasn't it like Anna Maria? Like it's longer than
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
cut it short.
like her name is longer than her. Oh yeah. Yeah, you beat me to it.
See.
In any case, she was cool, and I do. Yeah, like I don't like what I did read. I didn't read a lot, but I don't really need to watch it on the big screen.
Superior Spider-Man is the only Spider-Man run I have the complete set, including
believe
the bonus issue from the Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm. That was a good issue too.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think I bought that omnibus myself. Because there was issues that I didn't read that happened before, because the way they connected it was like everything that makes it superior. So not stuff that happened maybe in an ancillary book a little bit before that all went down, like Spectacular or whatever. But yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And then I don't know about this Craven thing, but I think it'll be all right. Taking Tugboat says, I can't wait for the Chameleon or the Jackal movie. And it's like, nah, man, like those guys benefit from having a hero fight them. Like, they can't be good on their own. You take somebody like a Sandman, he could do on his own. And it's essentially a monster movie. Like, he's trying to, and he become sand, and but I don't think, you don't think Sandman could be on his own?
Oh,
He had his own comic series.
nah, but still. Look, I like, yeah, no, like you do Sandman on its own, that becomes Clayface, and
Yeah,
you know,
but they're not doing Clayface either, so let them, Sony do it.
Yeah, I mean, Black Cat would be Catwoman.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
that's what we literally started with.
Black-
That. Like,
Black Cat is Catwoman. Like,
man,
there's a difference between like what
But-
Black Cat does and what Catwoman does is literally the same thing.
I mean, so Sandman's a little bit more abrasive than Clayface, but that's still no reason to not give him. his
right?
own
Nobody
movie.
does a sand bath at the spa.
I'm just saying, Sandman's character and Clayface's character are different.
Like Sandman should fight Darth Vader.
Oh, dude. Okay, we should go ahead and play the movie music. Let's start reviewing this joint.
We did have one more news story,
Wait, what? One more, you say? What is it?
although that wasn't news what you did, but we have a news story. Justin
One more opinion.
Roiland has officially been replaced on Solar Opposites. He is going to be replaced by Dan Stevens, and they've already explained away why he sounds different in the season 3 promo.
What's the explanation?
He gets hit in the neck with the dart, and they use a ray to fix his voice.
The dart from Cheers.
Right.
You got to add that because that's the beauty of it. Like, he's spending an inordinate amount getting that dartboard from Cheers, and they get mad at him, and he's like, "No, it's a famous dart." Because they don't let him play with sharp things.
Well, they don't let him throw metal in the house.
Right, that's what it is.
Why don't they let him throw metal in the house?
Too many mosh pits.
They said something at the beginning of the promo, like something happened the last time he threw metal in the house. I don't remember exactly what. The main point of the promo being to introduce the new voice.
Right. No, it's funny and it's clever. Because they basically say his voice is gonna be sounding like that even in flashbacks, right?
Right.
Which is kind of crazy, but kind of funny.
Oh, that dude's Legion?
Yeah,
I didn't know he did voices.
he's doing his own voice. Yeah,
Oh. So he doesn't do
He's-
voices, but he's the character. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the actor that plays Legion
Yeah.
yeah.
in the TV show. Oh, okay, got it. That's cool.
Dan Stevens. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I did not realize.
Jay
Sweet.
said it.
Well, he said it's Dan Stevens, but I didn't know that that's the name of the man that plays Legion.
Fake ass Legion fan.
No, I'm a real Legion fan. It's like, that's why I don't know the name of the guy that plays Legion in that show. Show's good, just not Legion.
We mean Sony Legion. MCU Legion. That's the Legion you're a fake ass fan for.
But there is no MCU Legion.
Yeah, there is. Doesn't Marvel bought, or not Marvel, but Disney bought Fox, right? And that was a Fox show.
Yeah,
That
but
makes him
that's
MCU.
And not only
No,
that, they were like Jeff Loeb was the head of TV at the time, and he was working on that at the same time as like Daredevil and Punisher and all those. So there you have it.
Fake ass Disney fan.
Did you know that they got a Legion card? Well, supposedly coming up in Marvel Snap.
You know, I'm tired of spending money on this shit.
You should just stop.
No, I haven't spent money, but I did. They added that thousand coin, the 1,000 token mystery card thing, and me and mystery box things. So guess what? I've been spending all my tokens on that.
I don't even know what you're talking about. There's a mystery,
So I
mystery
get
card thing?
yeah. For I guess if you don't have all the Series 3 stuff, they give you one at the beginning of each season.
Oh,
They give
yeah,
you a
yeah.
regular, right? But then in the market, the card place where they have like the seasonal one, and then they give you they
Mhm.
added 3 other cards, so they added a 4th slot there
Right.
where if you don't, where it's a mystery card, like you pay 1,000 tokens and you don't know what you get.
Oh.
I already bought like 4 of those, which is why I couldn't get
Oh, why you couldn't get what?
I couldn't get Silk because I had spent money on those.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, don't say money when the wife is like right there.
No,
Right.
she actually tells me to spend it. I'm like, no, I got to get to a certain level first. Like, once I get to like to a certain tier, then I'm like, okay, now it's worth to spend the money because even if I don't play it from now on, I got a bunch of cool
I want
variants.
you to get
Yeah.
to a level where you stop ducking me.
I don't,
Damn, why you say it like that?
You said you were playing. I sent out a challenge and I had to play Lawrence.
yeah, no, that's
What
that's
do you
good.
mean had to play? Like, why you
Yeah.
say it like that? Like, playing me is not fun.
I'm upset because I lost and I had like the worst card draw
exactly.
I've ever had. Like the one game where we have a rickety bridge and I never draw Wolverine. I was like, what the hell?
Look, I don't play with friends because I want to keep my friends. Like Larry at WonderCon, Larry, like Jay's like, I'm out. I want to talk about something good, Flash.
Oh, which I got to bring up something after the Snap related to Snap.
Okay, at WonderCon we're all playing, and him and Lloyd are playing, and I just stayed out. I stayed out of it. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And then eventually Lloyd got me to play, and I did okay. I won, but once. But you see why I don't play with friends. But I mean, I'm down. I will just like I'll hit you when I'm ready. Like I'll make time specifically for that. I've just been a little busy too, and I'm really just trying to get those. Like I want those Spider-Man like cards, so I'm working on getting those. Like I'm just working on those missions to fulfill that. Yeah.
So kind of related to Snap. Any of you guys play Dual Force this weekend?
No,
I thought they shut the beta down.
I don't know. I never got to try it because apparently it's not on mobile.
Yeah,
No,
it's not.
no, it's
That
on
was my
PC.
complaint last week because I was trying to play it. I got 2 codes because I got one for
Oh, you
Fantastic
did?
Forum. Yeah, because we have DC Ultimate, like DC.
Oh,
So we got it through that. We got one, and then I got one through my own for me being me. And so I had two keys, and but
man, why they keep me out of Dual Force?
I was trying to put it on the computer, and then it said like it took up all my hard drive.
Jeez.
I don't know, but it just said like it bling. Like I thought I got an achievement because it's the same sound when your hard drive gets full on the Windows 11. It's like that.
It's not working.
Like that. but I'm like, what the hell? I got an achievement. I check my phone. I got because I'm connected to Xbox with my phone, and then it's like, nah, it's like your whatchamacallit is full. And when I opened it, it was the shit had been running all weekend on my computer at work. And like now I'm trying to get dental insurance, man. I can't play this shit right now. But I don't know. I don't know what Dual Force. I don't know. Like honestly, I don't want to play on the PC. Like I have a phone. Like my phone is more powerful than all my computers. Like that's like I only use
play on the
computers
PC.
for
I
work.
have to be like sitting somewhere like this desk or like Snap. It's on my phone. I can just play it whenever.
Right.
Like I'm sitting there, phone in one hand, lotion in the other, ready to play this Dual Force, and it doesn't exist. So I played. Snap all
like
weekend.
my phone literally said, "I don't know what you want me to do with this," because I downloaded the executable file and everything. Yeah,
I just wanted
Too
to
funny.
mention that as we
Yeah,
DC
but no, I haven't gotten a chance to play yet. But I will try it. Like
If
I
you
know
want-
it's more involved.
if you do want to, and it's still available, the email they sent is unopened. So
Gotcha.
it's in the email. Like
I think the
I will
beta
check it
was
out.
just for the weekend, but you can try.
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all ready to talk about the Flash?
Thank you.
Let's do this.
Hold on.
Let's do this.
find the movie review theme.
Got it.
Comic book theater. Comic book theater.
Shout out to Tiger Claw Theater.
We could never change that song because it's so perfect.
Mhm.
We do need to make a video component to it, but
Yeah, I agree. We should put Tiger Claw in it.
you know what? I'm gonna do that shit
That'd be cool.
because he posts a selfie for every movie he sees. So I'm just gonna go on his Facebook and make a slideshow of all of them while the music's playing, like a
Dude,
super
dude.
like
or have it switch between them for the final note, or like dun, dun, dun. It's like
something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that shit. I'm gonna do it.
Oh,
You know what? I was
dude.
gonna do a whole review of a whole comic that I bought at the horror convention I went. I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm gonna make that video.
or his face pops up with the movie posters, whatever it says theater.
No.
Theater.
We're gonna have a super dynamic Tiger Claw selfie montage with the F coming out of his mouth.
Okay. The Flash. It's the latest comic book movie that's come out. Stars Ezra Miller and friends.
Stars and co-stars Ezra Miller. Like he should be nominated for both.
Technically, yeah. Well, no, I'll get to that later.
Yeah,
Because
but
it's binary but non-binary, right? Is that what's the thing?
Yeah, he's a they them. So there's two of them.
wait. Why is he binary but non-binary? What's that?
Well, because there's two of them, so it's binary, even though he's a non-binary actor.
So he's quadrinary.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
So he loves saying "we." Like he did that just so he could call himself "we" throughout the whole script.
What's Tiger Claw saying?
Tiger Claw says the Flash was really good. That one Quicksilver scene with the babies tops the Quicksilver scene from X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm gonna have to disagree because although what happens is probably better, it looks like crap. Those babies are obviously like they want to tell the audience that they didn't let Ezra Miller anywhere near a real baby. You could have thrown a Cabbage Patch doll in the air, and that's what it looked like. Like it would those. There's nothing realistic about those babies.
And there's a bunch of scenes where they put I guess they reshot it, but Ezra Miller wasn't there for it, so they put his face on another actor, and that looked mad weird too.
So
I'm also going to disagree, but on the basis that I actually like the X-Men Apocalypse scene better. This scene, I don't know, really didn't do that much for me. It wasn't funny, really, or necessarily that cool looking to me. And again, like I says, the babies look really bad. Yeah, like even if it did look good, though, I think I would prefer the X-Men scene.
Like I felt like it would look better if it was like actually in a comic book, like somebody drew it out, like him setting up the babies like that would look better if it was like Ivan Rice doing it or Steve McNiven, But it like I felt like that scene was really just to show his weakness, that is food, as his weakness, and it just not like that's not the time to do it. Like that's a waste of 10 minutes of this movie. It was just to have Batman in it.
Spoilers, by the way, ahead.
Look,
even little things like that Quicksilver scene, he stops and eats like a hot dog or something at one point, and it looks fine. It looks normal.
Yeah.
The Flash, when he's like stuffing his face, like just looks weird.
Yeah. I will say that, like, the first, like, I don't know, maybe, I mean, I won't say the movie starts, but there's like that 10-minute sequence with Ezra Miller where he has to be Flash. And it's just a very strange thing all around. Like, right from the start, he's in the suit and he does that weird pose before he goes to run. And I'm just like, is that a thing? Like, do runners start off like posed like that?
Oh, they usually
Get
start
some-
on one knee.
Okay, I mean, that's what I like. I know that in regards to racing each other, but I'm just trying to figure out, like,
I think think
it's a
that's-
weird
No.
creative choice.
I think that's just something they established for the Flash in earlier movies, and I
They
think that's
did?
why they make fun of it when.
In what
when-
earlier movies? Like, what you're talking about? Like movies that aren't with Ezra Miller?
No,
No.
with Ezra Miller movies where
Like
he's
in,
the Flash.
in
Like
Justice League.
League.
Like in Justice League, he did that.
Yeah.
And he does that goofy run. People in the DC universe don't know how to run. Like if you watch Wonder Woman 1984 and she's running down that highway, she's doing that same like weird thing with her
Yeah.
hands.
It's like the Forrest Gump thing where you have to like make your hands aerodynamic.
And at least like I said, I'd like to believe, and maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but the director of this movie is going to direct the Superman movie, I think. So I'd like to give him the credit that's why he makes fun of it later on when Barry starts running and he doesn't have speed.
Mm.
Like, you notice that, right? Like, no,
That he ran weird.
yeah, he did
Yeah,
his
no,
speed run, but it looked weird.
Yeah.
And I just wish the other Barry would have said, "Why are you running like that? That looks stupid." Because that's what I said in my head.
Look, I feel like that would have been even worse. It's like, what do you mean? Why am I running like that? It's like it's how you run too, right? Like, it's like I don't know. I don't remember.
I run weird just because I'm a heavy dude.
Okay, I don't know, man. It's just so strange to me that you have an entire movie where the whole dude's power is he runs, and nobody was like, I don't know, it looks weird. Like we can change it up. What's Tiger Claw saying?
It seems that the suit is more advanced because when he's about to run, there's something that pops up covering both of his eyes, probably some shield to protect his eyes.
I like that he thinks the suit is advanced because goggles show up, but not the fact that it changes the color of his lightning and his connection to the Speed Force. Like that, and that it can shrink and fit into a ring and then pop out. But the lenses, that's what makes it seem like it's the superior to the Power Ranger suit he had in the other one.
Don't let Tiger Claw see the transitions. He's gonna be like, whoa. You're like Tony Stark. Yeah.
And
Okay.
When he's on the run, I think it's just because he's an awkward person that he runs awkwardly.
Now you're talking about Ezra Miller, or you're talking about the character?
The character. I don't know how Ezra Miller runs, but the character, they go out of their way to make him like awkward, most likely on the spectrum. So he's not gonna run like a pro runner. He's gonna run like
Forrest Gump.
Oh, we can't say that word anymore, but
No, just say Forrest Gump.
nah. So yeah, we can't say that word anymore, but he runs like that.
Yeah, I mean the way they show his speed is weird because it looks like he starts running, but then at some point it's more like he's skating.
Right.
Like he takes a step and he's 5 blocks ahead.
Yeah. It's very strange. And it's weird just because it's like, oh wait, what's Heck saying?
Ask the police how Ezra Miller runs. Hey,
Hilarity. Like it's not like we like as Tiger Claw mentioned before. You have like say Quicksilver in two separate franchises. Then you also have a Flash television show, and while we totally and of course it's not like I mean these aren't the only characters with super speed, right? So we have all these like references in mass media to pull from. And so it's just strange to me that we get to a point where, and again, like it's super speed. So I understand it's not going to look like your usual run. And you don't want to take like necessarily just like, have somebody run and speed it up. Then otherwise you get like Benny Hill or whatever, which, somebody's like, what the hell's that reference? But, like that's, but yeah, I get why you wouldn't do that. So you have to do something different. But it's like, the way he moves in particular is just very strange. And the wild part is it's not strange all the time. Like sometimes it's really strange and other times
reshoots.
You know who had a really good super speed? Smallville.
Yeah. You're right.
They called him the Blur for like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
He was the Flash, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was red and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's some weird creative choices. And I'm just like, even like the wild part is he hits that strange like opening run stance pose that like looks like he's doing yoga like twice in the movie. Then later in the movie, he does a different pose that actually looks more like a superhero, like a speedster getting ready to run from like a comic book.
Oh look!
So I'm like, why did they
We've
change?
been working on this movie for 10 years. Like he's gonna not remember his pose.
Tiger Claw says, I did like how they show him running from Central City all the way to Gotham. And it shows how really far Gotham City is, having to travel so many miles to get there. Yeah. That was cool.
So
who are they fighting in those opening scenes though? Like that's my thing. Like, isn't that Batman like really anti-collateral damage?
That's kind of what didn't make sense because the person that stole something was Marconi's kid, and he stole like some super virus. I don't know why that building was collapsing. Like I think they said there was like an underground fire or something like that, but it just didn't make sense that Gotham City is not to forget the crime. Like the whole building structure and the way the city is built as a whole, just civic failure. That a hospital just falls apart like that over like an electrical fire that happened in the parking lot that the Flash put out.
I mean, I think if I'm remembering right, they said that the fire did something to the foundations.
That's a weak ass foundation because the Flash put it out when he got there.
Well, but it's not just a fire. I mean, it was like some sort of explosion or something, right? Like there was sinkholes.
Yeah, but
they stole a virus. Why do you need explosions? Like it doesn't.
Right, like it's like the villain you're fighting is the mob guy. Like, why do you need this much destruction? And then like Batman is causing parts of it by launching cars and shit. Like, and he hates Superman for that collateral damage.
Not just launching cars; those were cop cars in the air too.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, that's the whole shit I hate about that Snyderverse is like how he like what that Batman is Lex Luthor, and it's he just got the wrong he got his rich guy's crossed like somehow, and now we're suffering with this movie,
Speaking of this movie, how did y'all feel about this story? Why don't we start with you, Jay? Like, how did you like it? Like,
I liked it. I thought it was good. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
it flowed, and it for the most part didn't leave me with too many questions
Gotcha.
when everything was done.
It flowed like Ezra Miller and the Speed Force.
It
Yeah.
flowed like spaghetti.
Oh, jeez. Okay. How about you, Oz?
I actually I like the story.
Okay. What'd you
Yeah,
like about it?
kind of like it didn't kind of like Jay said, not just that it flows, but it didn't feel like another generic superhero movie where we're gonna get a giant CGI battle at the end, which we did, but that wasn't
It
like
wasn't
that giant CGI battle wasn't like that was like a part of the story, but the real battle was happening inside the main character, I guess is the best way I can describe it. Like that, like seeing that you see the character like go through some stuff and learn some stuff and learn all kind of lessons about love and life. And yeah, just like it didn't feel generic. There's been a lot of superhero movies that have felt kind of like, you know, they're just doing a formula. And I think there actually is a formula. And this actually felt different, like something a little bit new in a way, while still giving you that spectacle of a horrible CGI and stuff blowing up.
Okay. Moses, what are your thoughts on the story?
I liked it as well. And part of it was like what you guys have said, like you know, it flowed, but it also it flowed in the way that was almost you know, it took you through these weird turns. It's not essentially, you know, even the ending, like you don't get the happy ending necessarily. It's not a terrible ending, but it's like, okay, it's like if this was the TV series for Flash, it would have been better. You know, like him trying to, you know, and then you just, it's like Sliders, you know, like that. This the pilot for Sliders in the modern age, but
That was so good.
it was. And if you add the Flash to that, like, think about it. Like, this could have been, if this was the Flash show that we got instead of the Spider-Man knockoff that I loved. Don't get me wrong, but that would have been mad fresh, like a real fresh take on a superhero TV show at the time, you know. But ultimately too, the way they handled the multiverse, the way they handled that older Batman, like the way they handled, like I really enjoyed the story too. I can't, like, I wanted to knock it, but I can't. Like, there's stuff in it that I don't like, could have been done better, but the way, like, you can see almost like the Grant Morrison influence in how they do things, because of, you know, Ezra Miller hired him personally to help him write the script, you know. So you can see like the Morrisonisms in certain parts of it, and I'm, as a Morrison fan, I'm like, woo, you know. I'm like I'm like a black woman, like, woo. Yeah. But
What?
you know, I can't go that high pitch, but you know, you get the idea. But but yeah, I definitely, I really did, like, as much as the, you know, there's parts of this movie that I'm like, in this DC universe, like, this movie did, it's definitely not the best superhero movie ever,
Right.
but it is the best so far, the best Snyderverse movie ever. You know?
And you know what? I'll give you that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, you can definitely
Yeah,
say that, I think, because it definitely has a more coherent story.
right. And
than
it
a lot
feels
of the
more
other
like
ones.
a comic book movie, you know, like it feels a little like something I would read in a DC comic, like a Dark Crisis or something, you know. That's not necessarily the greatest, but okay, this is the event. I love the I don't think you needed the second Barry at all. I think you could have done this movie better with just the one, but the second Barry did, like, Ezra Miller got to showcase some of his acting chops in it, because I found I always thought he was a good actor. I don't like anything he's ever been in necessarily, and
Mm.
I have an aversion to him because I didn't like. He wasn't my first choice for the Flash to begin with, so I've
Oh, yeah.
always had an aversion. But he did say, like, you know what, you're gonna like my acting, motherfucker. I'm gonna force you. I'm gonna assault you with my acting skills, because I did like his performance as both both Barrys in it. Even though for story, I feel it was unnecessary. Like, it would have cut out runtime, and it would have made the story a little more. You could have used that extra runtime for something a little more, a little better for the story. You know what I mean?
It's
I actually kind
interesting.
of like them playing off of each other, especially at the climax.
Yeah, at the climax, it actually pays off, but
Yeah, I
throughout,
don't know if you do that with just him,
yeah,
but and I'll remind everyone, like, we're doing spoilers. There's a thing at the bottom of the screen. Just having him, like, come to accept that there are some things you can't change, while the other him is just refusing to believe that, and he's going for like years
mhm.
trying to fix that. It's the two of them in that moment is just amazing, and I don't
Yeah,
think you
but
get that with only one.
well, you do. It takes 3 seasons. Like, that's the first 3 seasons of the Flash TV show. Like, he
And
learns his lesson.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but that's
So,
gonna have way more runtime.
well, no, but that's the thing. It's like everything you saw in this movie has technically already been done in the CW series. Like,
That's what I was gonna say,
you know,
and
so
that's why it was strange to me hearing you all say how fresh it is, and I'm just like, no, but
it's only fresh because
they,
it looks fresh, and it's a different person. But realistically, like, it's still refreshing because it's like, basically, it's like getting a reprint or a retelling of Amazing Fantasy 15, like, with different art and everything. Like, yeah, you've seen this already, but it's like you like this artist's take on it, you know. And
okay.
so, and that's how I see it. Like, I'm looking from comic books, because I mean, I told you, Larry, I got in a fight with the bitch from the morning news, because she's like, maybe people aren't watching that movie because all these superhero movies look the same. I'm like, fuck you, bitch! Watch American Splendor. And then Emily's like, stop yelling at the TV. It's 5 a.m. You know, you don't have to be yelling this loud with the windows open, because we finally have summer. Yeah. But yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like, this movie, like, it still takes a little, like, it essentially reinvents the wheel, and I don't like, they didn't use the cosmic treadmill, which I didn't like, and then he ran backwards, which I didn't like.
Yeah. Again, another strange artistic choice.
Yeah. But the overall story of it, like, the way it is, it's essentially everything we've seen already, just done with Batman and a new Superman.
See,
Yeah.
and that's the thing for me, where I thought it was okay as far as like story wise. I thought it was okay, but it has moments that I thought were like, it felt to me like, okay, like in this moment, I would actually like to watch a movie that's like this.
Mhm.
Like what it has primarily is like a strange kind of like I guess it's a comedic tone, like they're always like slipping in little jokes, but the type of comedy that they're doing, I'm like, I don't know, it didn't feel funny to me. And me, like, I love to laugh, and I'm just like, man, like, like for instance, like the gag where like he cleans up his apartment real quick before Iris comes up, and there's a point where
Jay's already laughing his ass off. So
he leans on the wall and all this junk falls out of the cabinet, right? And I'm just like, okay. I mean, like, that's not like it. There is, I guess that is a type of comedy. I'm not saying it's not a type of comedy. I'm just saying, like, that it's not necessary. Like it's not executed well, I guess is one, and then two, it doesn't even fit like the moment or the tone of what's happening, at least to me. So I'm just like, okay. And then
like I just find it interesting that you were bothered by the comedic aspects, where I was a little like, why is Iris so thirsty for this dude?
I don't mind that.
Like she was coming at him hard, and like I feel like it's the Flash that, you know, it's Barry that courts Iris, not like, man, she was ready to jump him.
it didn't seem that thirsty to me.
It
Honestly,
is pretty
like
thirsty. Like at first I thought, okay, well, she's trying to get like for the story.
right.
But
Which is what happened.
She was trying to get in the pants.
No, see, I don't see it that way at all. Like
I think that
I
was
saw
just
it
a
more
bonus.
like I saw it more like she was trying to get the story and, you know, messed it up because she was like, oh man, like this dude is like a person and I'm out here like trying to do my job.
And Flash
And
wasn't
then-
interested because she wasn't young anymore.
Wait, what?
Well, he liked her when she was in high school, but once she turned 18, like he was done, right? Like that's totally Ezra.
No, see, listen.
That's Barry.
But
That was in the movie.
Well, his
don't
mom
make it like that.
dying,
They talk
and
about
then
that in the
he-
movie.
that, like his focus kept with.
Listen, so what I'm saying is she messed up the social interaction in the first scene they're in. And then in the second scene, I think she literally just went there to apologize. That, you know, and that's all there really was to it. Like I think, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that she didn't like him, but you know, I think she was just like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry about how I acted, which is like literally what she said. Like it didn't come across to me like, oh man, she's out here trying to jump his bones, you know. Like I don't even think she asked to go up. Like he invited her up, right?
I can't answer for at that point, but I know at the end of the movie she does tell him to ask her out.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, I don't know,
That's
That's fine. Like
But-
that's all you're
but-
getting girl at the end. Like,
but either way, my whole point is in this scene, you have that joint come out of the thing, and then he has to leave because you know she like inspires him or whatever. He has to leave, and then you do the same gag again with the jump coming out of a different place, and I'm just like who is writing this? That's like that's hilarious. You know, stuff falling out of
Morrison.
closets.
who leaves a random girl just in his apartment like that?
I mean,
A word you can't say anymore.
listen,
I get-
but I don't know. But I will say this: that like the Batman movie that was at the beginning with like the chase and stuff, I would have watched that movie, except for not in that suit because the suit's ugly and I don't understand what the deal is with that. But in a regular suit, I would have watched that movie and be like, "Oh, that's cool." Or even the Batman movie that's like the little mini like 89 Batman that you get in between, like in the CGI fighting and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, like I would love to see that movie, and I love how they made those two Batman distinct. You know what I'm saying? Like it felt like two different versions of Batman, which is very cool. And then the Flash movie that is basically you get like at the very end, like literally like after the CGI like battle stuff, once they're going back into the what do they call it? The time cocoon?
Time
Or what is
arena.
it called?
Because
Time arena. I think it is arena, right?
I didn't like that expression of time.
it literally looks like a freaking arena, and it was weird.
But you know what? I actually look, that was one of the things I did like.
Yeah.
Because I get it where they're like, this has been done a lot. We need to find a new way to do it. And don't get me wrong, I didn't like the execution of it. I like the idea of it, and that kind of goes back to what you were saying with Morrison. Like that feels like a Morrison kind of contribution where it's like, okay, I got to figure out a new way to express it so that, you know, people will will be able to visualize what's happening. And that I'm like, okay, the execution of it was terrible because it looks like literally like PlayStation 2 video game people, which I'm like, I don't understand why that, like, I don't understand why you don't just act out those scenes and then put a filter or something if you want it to look like not real. I don't know. It was weird.
You put on the green screen and you dress everybody in black and mask them out. Like Oz could do it in like Procreate, I think.
Dude, it was a very strange thing. But when they go back into that time arena thing, and like that, which is going back to I think what you were saying, Jay, where you have the two berries like having that moment, like that tone of those two flashes, I thought was awesome. And you know, like and all the way up until, you know, basically like almost until the very end of that movie, like that tone is kind of like, okay, I would have loved to see a Flash movie that was striking that tone. But it felt like it was pretty much a slapstick kind of thing almost for the whole movie until almost the end, which is weird.
That's always been a little bit of my gripe with the way they do Flash is they put Barry, but they're really trying to do Wally, you know, and that you get that in the show a little bit. You get that here with the Snyder Flash, like Barry is like a detective, like, you know,
Yeah,
you know, so he's not the Slash
police,
right? Like he's no nonsense. Like you know, and same with like a Hal Jordan. Like they try to do Hal Jordan, but it's like you're really thinking Kyle Rayner, like you know, in the Ryan Reynolds one, you know, like you know, it's like you want Kyle Rayner, you want Wally West, but you're using the predecessors that were more, you know, they're from the 60s and 70s. They're a little more clear cut, you know.
That's
black
because
and white.
they get a bunch of Flash stories, and they don't realize how many years Wally West took over for Barry.
Right. Well, even in this movie, like when he's trying to like, okay, like the second Barry Allen, like he's like, okay, oh, it's the night you get your powers. I have to take you to get your powers. Like, no, you don't. Like, this is a different world. Like, this is a world where you're free from your mother dying. You're free from the Speed Force too. You know, like, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, even him, like, you know, there's a story where Barry Allen, like, is the Speed Force that make the lightning bolt that hits him is Barry Allen from the future running so fast that he became pure energy. So it's like, why, like, even the way they look, I know they did it in Flashpoint, so they wanted to do it here. So I cut them that slack. Like that's comics' fault. not you know, not the creator's fault. But realistically, like, even like, you know, like you could literally like wrote the story where it's like, oh yeah, I just eventually I became so fast at the end to give himself powers at the beginning where he was missing it to be able to solve everything. Like, I don't know, it's all paradoxes, like with Wally a lot, like with Flash in general, the different characterizations of the different speedsters within the Flash thing. So this movie is like, yeah, having the two, it played on that, but it could have played a little better. Yeah.
I also don't feel like he acted like Wally.
As much as I like Michael Keaton and '89 Batman, I still think they could have made a better movie with Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh yeah,
going with Thomas.
Yeah, that was like the original script, right?
Maybe that's what happened in the comics, and there's got to be a reason why you get Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohan to play the Waynes at the opening of that movie.
No,
that was the plan,
right?
I feel like the Keaton thing was just like to get the studio on board, and some executives said, "Well, we need a reason for people to see it." And a lot of people that in the movie, that's their favorite part is Keaton shows up. So I get it, but I really think you could have told a better story. You take out second Barry, you put Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you don't even have to show Lauren Cohan as Joker, but you reference that that's what happened, maybe a picture or a flashback, like, but you don't need it. But still, the Thomas Wayne thing would have tied this up a lot better. And I got in a fight with somebody online because they're saying, well, that would be too confusing to people, and I'm like, Bruce got shot and Thomas became the Bat. I don't get why you're confused.
Well, you got Nicolas Cage eye lasering a spider.
Dude, I
You
want to see
got
that
two
movie too.
people no young people know.
I
You
never
know?
thought I would say, man, I really wish I would have seen the Nicolas Cage Superman movie, because that like, he's fighting a spider. Like they put more money into that CGI than
They
the
did.
baby scene that was like their like big.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they
Like,
made
and-
me want to watch a Nicolas Cage Superman movie.
Really, the
And
last
that's
like
something I always laughed at for years.
the last 25 minutes of this movie were actually really good. Like him going back
Mhm.
and talking to his mom, like that
Yeah.
shit. And Emily's like, you need your sinus medication. Sniffling. Like,
And that's what I was saying. That's like the climax isn't this huge CGI battle. It was him fighting his like he knew he had to make the sacrifice to save the world. Like
worlds.
Yeah.
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 Because it's like literally like the incursion that they stop in or they leave to stop at the end of Multiverse of Madness. They stopped it here. Yeah.
Mhm.
one thing that bugged me about the way they showed that the multiple universes is, I'm sure there's a way around it, but just the way I saw it, because you see Jay Garrick at one point.
Right.
They're like in different, like their own spheres, and I don't feel like you can get like a flash of two worlds. It just doesn't, like, they seem too separate. And actually, I think Jay Garrick's sphere like exploded at one point, so that might not even. But it's
But I
all getting
mean-
rebooted. It doesn't matter anyway. No one cares.
I mean, all you're talking about is realities, and so it's like,
Yeah.
the same way how you can jump through time is the same way you can jump realities if you really want to.
See, but that's
Um,
not like the way they visualized it. It didn't seem like that. It seemed like Barry could jump into time points, but like I couldn't see him jump into the Christopher Reeves universe,
Yeah.
because that seemed
Why
like a
not?
totally separate sphere that he wouldn't have even seen if they hadn't messed up the
Well,
universe so much.
they put them as different realities, not different probabilities, and that so they gave them a physical form as opposed to a conceptual form. Like it should have really been. It's harder to portray, but like the explanation that Grant Morrison gave of the spaghetti is essentially how it should have been showed, like more like freeways.
Yeah, like
but-
he should have been seeing roads, and
Right.
being able to take a crossroad or something.
Right. Especially since he's a runner, like paths. But that's that's part of the flaw. But it's also, I mean, we got to see the movie is, as much as it is about that, is not about that. It's about the
Also,
choices.
it doesn't matter because they're not gonna do another. They're not gonna do another movie. They're not gonna do a Flash of two worlds
Right.
storyline. Like he's not gonna cross over into any of these other universes.
Ezra Miller is not coming back.
I'm gonna say no based on the box office.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I think it's more than just the box office, but but also too, I just think that it's one of these things. Like, we were kind of, there was a point, I guess I should say, where we were kind of thinking like this might be where the Guns universe, like this might be the catalyst for that new universe. And we see like that that's not the case.
Like we didn't even get a Pandora, right?
no Pandora.
Gunn did an interview with Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor, for those of you children out there, where he said that Blue Beetle is the first DCU character you're gonna see, but the first actual DCU movie is gonna be Superman. So nothing from this movie is gonna
Right.
translate.
So the
Like,
Blue Beetle.
maybe they would have kept Ezra Miller if this would have been a hit, but that's why I bring up box office.
You
they're
think
done.
if this joint was a hit, they would be like, we're still gonna go with Ezra.
Like, they put it out as problematic as he was. They put it out.
Well, but
Like,
that's
and
it was already made though, right?
So was Batgirl.
No, they also and they did a bunch of reshoots after the fact, after all those issues. Like, they put money after he hit those women and threatened the KKK. You know,
The Clooney thing was a reshoot because
Yeah.
we
Right.
all saw the original set photos. That's supposed to be Keaton and Supergirl.
I heard that there's multiple iterations of it that happened, and so
Sure, I mean,
Like-
there's several. It's a multiverse, so yeah, there probably is.
no, but because
It's
like I
spaghetti.
heard that there was a version of it that was basically like Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, like Affleck and Godot and Cavill. But
And-
once they were
well-
like, well, that
To me, that ending was probably like the last nail in the coffin for the Snyderverse, because the people who got a advanced screening, the way they saw the ending of this movie would have been a stepping off point to keep this Flash in the universe. And the way that movie ended is when Bruce Wayne is stepping out of the car, you see his foot,
Mhm.
and then you cut to Ezra Miller saying, "Who the fuck is that?"
right.
And then that was it, black. So that gives you the option of inserting your new Batman in there if you want to keep Ezra, and it's that same universe.
and that was a CGI Ezra Miller with the Clooney, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible, so bad.
But yeah, doing that with Clooney, it became a gag, and it's kind of like, well, unless Clooney's the new Batman, because they are supposed to go with the older Batman.
I'm down. I like Clooney.
If he learned his lessons from the first time, and he can stop smiling for a minute,
Well,
I could be.
That wasn't his fault. That was
Yeah.
the director.
Yeah, he was making a Batman 66 movie.
I blame Clooney.
I blame everybody involved.
No, Spielberg.
All of them.
No,
But yeah, man.
I think like, you know, he's got the acting chops to do like a good gritty, like, I mean, you guys saw Michael Clayton like put a cowl on his head like that. No, like that's not a good idea, or no, you didn't see Michael Clayton.
I've never seen Michael Clayton.
You're doing yourself a disservice, friend, in the words of Larry.
I don't think it's on Prime.
There it is.
Well, fucker act like he don't know the internet.
Yeah, I do agree that that is definitely like the end of the Snyderverse, no question on that.
Michael Clayton is on Amazon Prime,
Oh, dang, Jay.
as well as
I guess you know what you're doing tonight. But yeah, like it's so crazy because like this joint was like the last, like Mo said, that last 25 minutes, I was like, wow, like this is the movie that I was hoping to see, you know, all before I got all this other stuff. And then right in that last scene, it goes back to like the dumb stuff again, like the scene where he friggin' looks at Clooney. Like, not only does it look terrible because of the CG, but then it's just like, even if it looks good, it's like, what? Why are we doing that? Like, what's that joke for?
You didn't laugh at the
Like
two?
that?
Well, and
What is it? Did you find that funny? Is that funny?
No, that was
It's not
that
even
was-
like-
it was incredibly dumb, and DC has a problem with CG mouse. But go on.
But I'm just saying, like it's not even like it's not funny, like period. Like it's not set up well. It's just
Well-
a thing that happens.
And for that joke to happen too, like he
I
has
like-
to have such a goofy expression.
Yeah.
Like that is not a natural looking smile just to get a
No.
full view of that tooth.
Right. And like not only that, but then it's like what you said before was you were confused. Like that's not the emotion you were just expressing. So why all of a sudden are you like friggin' grin from ear to ear? Like what do you like?
well,
what is
Jay
happening?
explained it
Spectrum.
because he's the word you can't say. The F word.
I thought it was the R. word.
No, It's not.
I've been thinking it's
F-
the F word the whole time. I even said it once or twice earlier.
It's the S
I'm
word.
just saying.
The S word?
No,
S
it's
word,
an
not
R
F
word.
word.
It's like how
definitely the S word.
a fire extinguisher is
I like the F
fire.
word better because it's actually relevant. Like it is just shorthand that people started using as an insult.
I don't even know what that is.
It
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
matter.
All right,
know.
I
We
mean,
don't.
I
Yeah,
can tell you, but we're gonna lose our monetization.
Like the
Yeah, we
F word
don't-
I was thinking
It's okay.
about.
We have
was-
all those Patreon.
we could just talk
they like
about the
our
movie.
salacious.
We could just.
yeah.
the
Let's,
spur.
let's get back to the. Let's get. Let,
The what?
You could tell
A
me.
spur, which
spur.
is short for Asperger's,
Oh,
which is the autism,
I've
but
never
people
heard
call it
someone.
spur. But
I've
then
never heard
that
that used
started
as an
becoming
hold on, Oz. Hold on, Oz. Jay,
yeah,
continue.
people started using that as an insult,
Yeah.
and now we're not supposed to say it anymore.
That's dumb.
I've never heard that. That's not going to demonetize us at all. Like the words in my head are a lot worse than the word that you actually said.
Yeah.
To you, but
Okay.
you're not a spur.
Yeah.
My
Well,
brother,
I don't think
my brother is a total
R, right?
yeah, like hard R. Like
Yeah.
like you got to be like 20 R. Like yeah, like oh.
So yeah, all that to say that final scene's ridiculous, and then the
But I
after
did like
credit
George
scene
Clooney.
is even more ridiculous. No, I mean there's nothing like George Clooney showing up is not the problem. George Clooney is fine showing up. He showed up as Bruce Wayne, and he's a great Bruce Wayne.
I just
Like
want to.
so, yeah. So no, that wasn't the problem. But I'm just saying, like, it just goes back into that terrible tone, and it's like it'd be different if it was just like trying to be funny every so often, but it makes a lot of attempts, and I don't know, like, just none of them land for me. So I was just like, why do they keep trying to be funny and failing? Like, there's nothing wrong with trying to be funny, but it's like when you keep trying to be funny and it still fails, or it keeps feeling like it fails to me, I'm just like, man, this is like really terrible. What's Heck saying?
Heck says, look, Elon considers cis and cisgender slurs. I guess there's a line for personal offense for words. And that's because Elon is was it Spur? Spur? Is that what?
Well,
Like,
yeah, there's
why are we trying to
definitely, like,
use what is considered the slur? Like, why can't we just leave it alone?
there's definitely like,
that's what
different
Elon
people,
is. Like,
different people
Elon
are
has
offended by
Asperger's.
different words. Like Jay's not offended by the N word as much as Lawrence. You
Yeah,
know?
he is.
No, I'm not.
I know,
Oh.
you know.
I just thought it was unless I say it.
Oh yeah, we're offended by everything you say, but that has nothing to do with, like, doesn't matter what the first letter of the word is. You said
No.
it.
Hey guys.
I've had Southerners use it around me. I just I'm not that offended by it.
Right.
I know in
words
general,
offend-
I don't think of myself that way. So it's like I do think of myself that way, but at the same time, I think it's like an all or nothing. Like,
And
either
that's your
everyone
Asperger's.
can say it or
I
no
wanna
one
call
can
you
say it. I don't know. It's the way it's in our society just rubs me wrong. And so I don't really get that mad when people use it.
My whole point is
Like,
different people.
I
are
might
offended.
side eye because I could possibly be in danger, but then that's where context comes in.
Like if it's the guy that pulls you over saying it, it's a little
Right.
different than
Like
the guy
that's an issue.
cheeseburger.
Right. But when I say
But
it,
if
it's
another
just
guy, like one of my friend's brothers, like he uses nigger all the time. He's like, "Oh man, that hurts like a nigger," and I'm like, "Whatever."
Doesn't even make any sense.
It's the South.
A at the end. Like, okay.
Did he get
I've-
buffed
I've-
with that one or
I
what?
lived in the South. I've never heard anyone say that. Anyway, and then
I have a white lantern ring. I've never. Sorry, go ahead.
the after credit scene is
You
just
wear
again
my power.
more More friggin' geez.
I actually didn't get an after credit scene because I got a screener for my consideration. So
It's
the
literally
one with Aquaman.
right.
That was
It's literally
pointless.
I love that.
It's a
scene.
great scene. It's pointless to the movie.
what is it? What's so great about it?
It's funny. That was actually funny.
It
I
no, it's
actually-
not. Like that's the whole. Like that's so crazy. Like
Especially
literally,
like Flash trying to explain to Aquaman, like, dude, I can't get drunk. Like, I don't know why you're trying to outdrink me. I can't get drunk, and that's why Aquaman's all messed up. Like, and then he lands face first in the water, which is fine because he can't drown. Like, it's all fun. You don't.
I
know.
honestly just like them two together. Like
I might.
ever since, like even in the movie, but ever since like
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker,
Yeah.
where he's like, yeah, that one's true. He's like, fuck you, Barry. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, them together, I like that. I want more of it. And
But-
this was more of
but-
it.
but Peacemaker, the scenes of Peacemaker are hilarious, right?
That scene is funnier
Just
than
one
this scene.
scene.
But
Say
like,
what?
It's literally just one scene.
I mean, but what is the like? But what I'm asking you is,
The scene in
Isn't it-
Peacemaker is funnier than the scene in this movie.
no, but what Larry's going at is that it's a running gag in Peacemaker building up to that because he always talks about Aquaman fucking fish.
I mean, but it's also a running gag in that movie because they introduce an Arthur Curry in that movie.
it's not a running
That-
gag in that
that's
movie.
Harry
That's
and
that's the
Lovable.
that's the whole thing where it's like I don't like you're giving it credit that it doesn't deserve. That's like that's the whole thing where it's like it's not like you get to that scene and you're like, oh wow, like you know, like it doesn't. It's not a payoff. Like it's not the even though the scene isn't that funny, but like just as a example, like at the end of Avengers when they're at shawarma, they referenced the shawarma earlier. So when you see them actually going to go get the shawarma later, you're like, oh, and then it's just you know,
They
It's a silent-
reference Harry Lovable Arthur Curry a lot more than they reference Shawarma.
no, they don't. They don't. They
What do
he
they do?
looks
They
for
spent
him.
like a minute and a half on it. They hired you're gonna go, they hired freaking I forget dude's name, Boba Fett, to reprise his role to make this
Mhm.
joke work.
That the joke. That's the thing. The joke doesn't work though.
That's because you
Because-
don't understand comedy.
Oh no, definitely not. Like the joke doesn't work because the joke, the guy. There's no joke in that scene. It's him calling up a guy saying like, "Hey, I need to talk to your son," but that he doesn't exist in that reality. And then later, he's telling him the story that he doesn't exist in the reality, but Jason Momoa is just acting silly. I know he's drunk, but it's like what? Like,
You're
what's
already
funny about
laughing
you looking
your
at Jason?
description and you're not even describing it properly.
I'm describing it exactly what's happening. Like, it's literally just him telling him, like, "Hey, you didn't exist," and this fool's drunk because he tried to outdrink the Flash and he has a high metabolism. Like,
Oh, I thought he was drunk because he realized that there's realities where he doesn't exist and he got depressed. That's why I drink.
No, he doesn't understand that there's different like Barry's trying to explain to him how there's like different Batman and yeah.
and the scene goes on for like 2 minutes.
Dude, and it's funny because he passes out on the street and Barry's like, dude, like my apartment's like right there. Like I can see it. And he's just like he's in a puddle of water, but he can't drown. So he's like, I live here. In
I
the
might go
water.
to the theater to go see
He's
that.
splashing the water.
Listen, this is what it 100% felt like a scene that Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa wanted to do. And I'm happy for them that they got to do what they wanted to do. As a person watching a movie, I'm just like, this doesn't bring anything to the table for me. Like, this is like literally like, like there were so many things that could have been after this joint post credits. Like, whether it's like,
yeah,
a-
like Batman reading a letter from his dad and shedding a tear for the first time in his life.
I didn't want to
I
see that.
agree.
I didn't want to see that.
anything.
I wouldn't have minded
And I was
seeing
like, instead-
Braun.
Say again, Jay.
I wouldn't have minded seeing Thrawn.
Say Thrawn?
Thrawn?
Are we talking about Ashoka? What happened?
No, Thrawn, Eobard Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Oh.
Okay, there's no R.
But why do you want to see? Like, I mean, okay, all right. I
I
guess.
said I wanted it. I said I wouldn't have minded.
I guess. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I guess. But anyway, okay.
Heck likes our review of the movie. Like, he's like, this is selling me on watching this movie. And honestly, I wouldn't even say don't watch it. Like, I know we're getting to ratings, so I'll start. Like, it's for me, it's like a 3.5, maybe 3.75. Like, it had a solid story. The reshoots probably fucked it up, trying to add all this extra shit, this Batman shit. Like, instead of giving you just a good Flash story, but they gave you one for 25 minutes, so it's that's worth a movie ticket.
25 minutes of the 2 hours and 20 minutes at the movie.
Again, like, but I mean, you're not gonna like seeing that first Batman. You're not gonna not enjoy seeing that. Like, even with the crappy story part of it, you know, seeing was it a Birdman be Batman, like Keaton, like, you're not gonna hate that either, you know. Like, even that Supergirl, like, the moments she was on, she was good too. Like, I like how angry she was at humanity, like, but she was more angry at Zod, like. You know, that was a missed opportunity in and all of itself, because if you had less of that first Batman, you could have had probably more of a epic formulaic superhero fight with the Zod stuff that was better than what we actually got, and then still have the good Flash shit at the end, you know?
See, Supergirl was another missed opportunity for me, because if you're gonna have old ass Batman, like, just make her Lara. You don't have to make her a Kara. Dude, her costume, the way she looks, she's Lara, not Kara.
Yeah.
But then they show you like real Supergirl.
They worked out my issue. They worked out my issue too, where it's like, well, if that's the universe where Keaton is, then that's not the Ben Affleck. So it's not. There's no Superman in that universe. She is the Superman of that universe, and that's kind of what they did. Even though they explained the Clark thing away, like, you know, he got to him before, you know, at a different point in time.
And
the first
I will give
that works, you know.
That's
the only way it works, that it's a Kara, because they tie it in. But other than that, she's still the Superman of that universe. You know?
Like the actress did a great job. Like that, it works. She did good. She did good with what she had. I'm not knocking the actress. She just not hashtag my Supergirl.
Well, you got your Supergirl, the blonde one,
for like a minute.
Yeah, felt good.
She didn't do anything but just stand next to fake ass Christopher Reeves.
Hey, she was fake ass too.
Yeah,
they're both fake.
She's still alive.
Like, no,
she stood there and they de-aged her.
No, I think
she's still alive.
Is she? I thought she was.
You're gonna make.
I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to
make Christopher Reeves. You don't need to. You don't need to CGI, because you have like the guy that won his lookalike contest and did Batman Returns.
I wanted to see the Doom Patrol. I wanted to see Titans. I wanted to see Swamp Thing.
Titans has an episode that does that. Like,
well, the CW series has that, where it connects all the shows as the multiverse. And like, when I saw that here, I was like,
Titans does that also, where Beast Boy like goes into the multiverse and ties every goddamn thing you can think of.
Nice.
Like, I haven't seen season 3, but I followed the hype and I saw that scene.
Crazy. So I guess we should rate or continue rating, since you started, Mo.
Supergirl is still alive. She's only 59 years old.
Only 59. All right.
Like, she could still play Kara.
Yeah.
Old ass Kara, but still Kara.
Well, realistically, in that world, she probably would have been older Kara. Anywho,
now I'm
go ahead.
mad.
Jay, what would you rate The Flash?
I would give it a 4. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Nicolas Cage, Superman fighting the spider is like one of the greatest Easter eggs, and uh, some people don't realize what that is, and
Mhm.
I get to explain it to them, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just really enjoyed this movie. Um, that scene at the end really hit me hard with the two berries, like one not giving up and one accepting it. That like really got to me. I thought the Flash, Aquaman stuff was fun. Not necessarily funny, but I like seeing them together.
It's probably the last time you're ever going to see them together too, so you get to enjoy it that way.
Well, there's still an Aquaman movie coming out.
Yeah,
though.
but no, they're not going to get Ezra Miller for that.
There might be a post-credit scene.
I don't know, man. I mean, he might be caught up with Hunter Biden.
They should remove what's her face that plays Mara and just put Ezra Miller's face on it, on the character.
And it'll probably look better than that last scene in the movie.
In any case, I did really enjoy The Flash.
Okay. Oz, how about you, man? What would you rate it?
I'm gonna go with a 4. The only thing that stops it from being a 5 is what we talked about, the CGI issues, my personal issues of I wish it was Thomas Wayne, because I think it would have been a better story. But ultimately, this is just a really good movie. And unfortunately, like, this movie should have came out when it was supposed to, like a year or two after Justice League, before Ezra went crazy. Because there's a lot of people that aren't going to watch it just because of Ezra. And there's also other people that aren't going to watch it because the universe is getting rebooted. So it's got all these things against it. And the box office for this movie doesn't reflect the quality of the movie. I think had it come out like right after that Justice League movie, I think it would have done a lot better than it's doing now. And it's just a good movie. I think people should check it out. If you don't want to spend theater money, definitely once it comes out on Max or whatever the hell it comes out on, go check it out.
Okay. I'd give it a 3. I whatchamacallit. It's not the worst by any means. Like, I definitely had a better time watching this than I did, say, like Ant-Man, Quantumania or whatever. Or I think it's a better movie than, like, say, it was definitely better than Shazam 2. Ugh.
The Snyder Cut?
What? The Snyder Cut? Oh, is it better than the Snyder Cut is what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better than the Snyder Cut, definitely. Like, it's like there's a lot of movies, like recent comic book movies, and of course like other stuff where it's better than that. But for me, it didn't resonate with me. And it was a lot of different tones that I didn't like, and it strikes a particular tone at the end that I was really like, man, like that's the spot, like that, and it feels like everything clicks for that like 20 minutes, and then it
those
goes off the rails again.
In its defense, like, not to dispute your rating, like I agree with you, but those tones really aren't characteristic of Flash comics. Like they come in here and there, but for the most part, they tend to be a little more lighthearted, which is kind of like what the rest of the movie was, But it just depends which Flash you're reading too. But some are a little more lighthearted than others. Like, yeah,
I'll give you that. But I guess here's the thing: like, that tone feels like Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And this movie, of course, it was drawing inspiration from Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's what I was kind of like hoping for more so. And not to say like I don't mind light moments, even if they're not funny, to me personally. Like, I get it. Like, comedy is subjective.
You clearly do, because you didn't like the after credit scene.
Well, no, but the whole thing is not like Flash does, or this Flash movie to me is doing like what the Guardians movie does, where it's like
He's used
it,
to these post-credit scenes setting up another movie, but there's no other movie to set up. So
no, I don't care about setting up another movie.
That's
Like it
his
doesn't make
Disney.
sense. It doesn't make sense for it to set up another movie. I just want it to be relevant to what I've seen, and that's the thing. Like it just feels like it's just nonsense. It's like not like it serves no purpose, and and that's okay. Like like I get it. Like I know that Jay, for instance, gets off on that. Like Jay loves that, just random non sequitur, and so I get why somebody would be like, "Oh, yeah, this was cool, just something." And that's fine, cool. I'm like, I should just went to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, like this is what I held my pee for, huh? Okay, like that's some bull. Now I might have a friggin' urinary issue.
You won't. You still got a couple years for that.
But yeah, man. So I just think that the Guardians thing that it does is like it ratcheted up, or I can't even say ratcheted up because it's the first movie, but there was like a certain level of jokes, and I kind of feel like it's trying to do what Guardians does. It's trying to do what Peacemaker does, but it's failing at it, and that's the problem. Where it's like because it's too often to not be good, where it's just like ugh, like and it just might not be my brand of comedy, and that's fair. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not sitting here telling like saying like the movie shouldn't exist or anything, and I don't even know if I would tell somebody don't watch it. I just tell them like, hey, be ready. Like
don't pay the IMAX
like
prices for this.
Say what?
Don't pay the IMAX price for this movie.
There you go. So
we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Review. Like review. Well, not like that, but like.
All right. Since we just came out of The Flash, let's go to Titans next. And, talk about Titans #1. It's one of the titles from the dawn of DC, which is DC's like relaunch of their, soft relaunch of their comic book universe. When the banner relaunch, not like they rebooted everything. Jay, you want to tell us about this book?
Yes. The Justice League is on hiatus, and so the Titans are stepping up to be the Justice League. Wally's in trouble, and they have to figure out who killed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, you do get like a little bit of a. Say again.
Oh, go ahead.
No, like I say, you do get a little bit of a intro to the members, but not like not like you kind of meet everybody, but not like in a very not like super distinctly, like not in like the formulaic way, just more so like hey, people come on screen, and so you get to know them a little bit better. Or at least get a little bit, or I should say you get an introduction to who they are as a character. And the majority of this issue is also like told from Nightwing's perspective. So, you got
right.
that too. Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say, we're not getting all the info. There's a series that happens before this that has not come out yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tales of the Titans.
Okay.
Happens before this, but we don't get that until later this year.
And what is it that's going to be in Tales of the Titans that we're not getting?
Well, Beast Boy gets his eye back, and other stuff.
But that hasn't. I saw that footnote, but that footnote was for an issue that hasn't come out yet.
Yes.
Oh, okay. How did he lose his eye in the first place?
He got shot.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Look, but it's funny because when you were talking, I thought you were going to be talking about, oh man, I can't remember the DC, the event they had where Nightwing became like some sort of, I don't know if he got like godlike powers for a second. I don't remember the actual story. I read like one of the first books of the event, but I was like, nah, it's not for me. Oh, hold on. Hey, Oz. Sorry.
Nightwing does not get powers. They just respect his leadership.
He did get powers in that last event.
No, he didn't.
Did you read
It
it?
just looked like it because of the cover, but nah, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't get powers?
Not really. His awesome.
I mean, I'm not saying he has them still now.
Like his awesomeness just exuded out of him.
Okay.
And like he is the new DC, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stupid. Like the cover was him like in a Jesus pose, and yeah.
There it is.
Stupid Death of Justice League.
But yeah, so like, but I know that like Nightwing has become like a centerpiece for the DC universe right now. And which, you know, hey, like I honestly, it makes sense. Like I like the idea of the Titans kind of stepping into this role, and kind of, you know, getting their just due to a degree. You know, it's like Nightwing can be that dude. So it was interesting to see how it is that, you know, this team is like not only them like recognizing that for themselves and trying to adjust to this new status that they have, but, you know, just like watching people kind of fulfill that, you know, being into that role. Mo, what'd you think of this book?
Titans #1. It felt like an old George Perez book, and I say that in a good way. The art felt like that from the cover. So when you guys suggested this in the production meeting, I was like, oh well, this is the Dawn of DC. This is the cover. Like it had like a George Perez vibe in it, like the way they drew Donna Troy, and everybody's all grown up, you know.
Right.
When I last read them, and I liked it, and even the dialogue and everything. Like this book was dialogue heavy. It had a fight, but it was really just to facilitate where the story is going to be going, and I like that about comics. Like that, I wish that fucking Titano fight would have been what was in the Flash movie. You know, because it's a fight to cause a big deal to push the story forward, but I don't think it even fits in the capacity as well like it did in this comic in the movie, really, the way the movie went. But definitely, like, it felt like almost like the old way of those old Titans, or even those old Avengers, George Perez Avengers comics. And the dialogue was like, that's what moved the story along more than anything. And I love that. I appreciate that. I don't want that for every comic in the series, but that one, like, they didn't have to get me with no splash pages. Like, they, you know, the story flowed, and it did what it did, and every character kind of shined. It told you a little bit what you need to know from what you don't know coming out of Dark Crisis, and I was like, what? Like, I was surprised. No, but that's what this is. This is the fallout from that, right? Like, it's after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't not reference Dark Crisis. You can't poo-poo it, Larry. But
No,
but,
I'm not pooing it. I'm saying that was the event that I couldn't remember where Nightwing
oh, okay.
had the
Sorry,
powers. That's all I'm saying.
I was taking a shit when you said that. I missed that part of the show. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that ultimately, I enjoyed this first issue, and lately I think because we did do the Titans before that I hadn't read, or it was was Young Justice that I hadn't read anything before it, and this one felt better than that, even though I did enjoy that one too. But no, I enjoyed this story, and it was very like, essentially a slow burn for like the trade paperback or whatever, but I'm okay with that on a monthly thing. Like I can read it in 20 minutes and still be able to read the rest of the comics I bought on New Comic Book Day. Yeah.
Right. I should also mention that, this book is written by Tom Taylor and art is by Nicola Scott. So Oz, how about you, man? How'd you enjoy Titans #1?
Is Cyborg a Titan or a Justice Leaguer?
Both, just like Donna Troy.
Donna Troy is not.
Is
in
Donna
the main
Troy
Justice
in the
League.
Justice League?
No.
Yes.
Technically, every superhero is a Justice Leaguer at
Yeah.
this point, but that's still
but
not like
Justice
the
League
main.
Unlimited. Like everybody.
She was in the Justice League when Blackest Night happened.
And the book itself, it's fine. I don't know why you need to kill Wally West every story he's in.
Because he's black.
Also, I know too much about how nuclear reactors work. And that whole thing, like I'm sitting there like, Cyborg, you're flying into a cooling tower. I don't know how you got into the main reactor chamber, like through that. Like there's nothing in there but like pipes for water. And they're like this big, like you can't. And why are the rods just out in the open like that? Like there's bolts the size of my leg on the cover to whatever. That doesn't matter. You guys don't care.
No, but I actually do, because I did see that, and it's like it seemed like mad like Simpsons-y, like where Homer could just stop the gas with his ass, So it did feel like that. But again, the way the story is, it's that's just fodder to move the shit along with Peacemaker and Waller,
That's another thing. They're really trying to make Peacemaker a thing now that show came out.
There's nothing wrong with
but
it.
Is Peacemaker like showing up in a lot of DC books?
Yeah, he had his own series. Like he showed up in, I forget what else, like a couple Suicide Squad books.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, I think, is where he's getting really big because that's the movie he came out in.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like
the book is fine. The book is good. I'm not gonna knock the book. It's just like all the problems I have with are like my personal issues. Like I know that's not how a nuclear reactor works. So that's like a quarter of the book that for me was like just way over the top. Like it's Ezra Miller's tooth falling out to me. Like that's how I felt while I was reading that. But I get what they were doing. The nuclear reactor wasn't the point. The point was what happens when Peacemaker shows up and interacts with the group. Like that's the main point of that scene. I'm getting tired of Wally West getting killed. Like he dies like a lot, and I don't read enough books to realize how he came back each time.
You should watch that movie. You should watch that movie, The Blackening.
That sounds racist.
It is.
Yeah,
it's like the tagline. It's a horror movie with all black people, and it says we can't all die first.
Yeah, that sounds like something I don't want to watch. Yeah, no, like you were thinking.
Hey, dismisses it.
Yeah,
I saw it. It was really good.
I believe it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no, it looks hilarious. But anyway,
It's a comedy.
It's a horror
like a
comedy.
horror comedy.
Well, it's a satirical horror movie. I like to call it that.
Like, can I type that into my Google, or am I going to be on the list? Another
Well, I
list.
don't know. It depends on who your congressman is.
I think. Are we trying to
Now,
pretend
if
like we're not
Chris
already
Carroll,
on the
I think
list?
I'm fine.
As far as Titans #1 goes, I liked the book. I can definitely understand where you're coming from, though, Oz, where you're like, oh, like Wally West doesn't have to die in every book. At the same time, like I read this book and was like, okay, yeah, this is what happens. This is the hook, but Wally West is not gonna be dead. This was on the cover.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean like.
And he's on the cover of Nightwing.
He was dead in Crisis in Heroes in Crisis, but he was still like one of the main characters in that. Like it's just.
But that's just because they're derivative of Shakespeare. But
I don't know what that means.
Look, Wally West is like Sean Bean.
He has to die in everything he's in.
It doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that it happens.
No, and look, like I said, the book is good.
Yeah.
There's not enough people that read Heroes in Crisis that are going to read this book to like, or people don't care about Wally West. In fact, I think until they actually mentioned that he's Wally West, like people think he's Barry Allen. Like, oh look, he's talking to Iris. That's not Iris.
I feel like there's and I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like there's like I don't even know if I don't want to say clicks, but there's like they both have their set of fans, and while they're like there might be people that are like Flash fans and Barry Allen's their Flash, and maybe they don't even really know.
That's actually
Wally
a huge
West is.
like that's one of DC's rib fur arguments.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Wally or Barry.
Right, exactly, and I think that like there's
Anybody
a
who says
contingent
Wally
of
is
Wally
wrong,
West
I
fans.
agree. Right, they're so wrong. They made another Wally because the first Wally was not good enough, apparently.
So but I feel like the and like kind of piggybacking what Mo was saying, it is conversation heavy, but I enjoyed it thoroughly, especially like being like a person that's not necessarily as familiar with the characters, like and I don't mean that like I don't know who they are, but I don't know where they're at in this moment,
Right.
and so that's really the thing where it's like I felt like by the time I got to the end of the first issue, I had a good idea where like half of them were at, and it's like you only have so much like real estate, so I'm like there's like I'm hoping in the future issues, like for instance, to get a little bit more find out a little bit more about what's going on with like say like Cyborg or like
his dad died.
Starfire. Huh?
His dad died.
Oh, recently?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And
a
so,
robot came claiming to be his dad. So he's dealing with that.
That happens.
I wish a robot would come and pretend to be my dad.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, because he died, and
Yeah, no, I get it.
I play catch with the robot. I can tell I love the robot.
But you wouldn't believe him unless he leaves.
Well, that's the paradox. That's why I love the Flash movie. Like, there's no action without consequence, man. Yeah.
And Starfire, like
Yeah.
more like learn more about what's going on with Starfire.
I wish my dad was Starfire.
But yeah, but Tom
Starfire, like this book had, like, I don't want to say like the art. I'm gonna give it average, but there's some panels where Starfire's got like some goofy, weird ass smile. Like there's something up with this art a little bit.
Yeah,
I understand
didn't
why
notice it.
they unsexify her costume, but
I found it plenty sexy. I didn't think it was unsexified,
Yeah.
but I did see that it was a redesign. I didn't correlate it with unsexy.
Well, I compare it to
neither.
her previous costumes.
Well, yeah, I get that, but
Yeah, so compared to those, it's unsexified.
I guess
It's still sexy. No, it's still sexy. Like it's fine.
It's not like the burqa they put Spider Woman in after.
But
the
it seems like every time she smiles, it just like I don't know if he's trying to. I don't know if the artist is trying to convey that this is an alien, but it just looks like Ezra Miller in the Tooth.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
wait, Oz is trying to
like,
show
like
us.
look at that. It like there's two panels right there.
It's
And
got it on
it's the same image.
Yeah, I think that's
I don't
color.
think- I don't think there's anything wrong with that picture. Honestly, I think that what makes it look weird is she has no pupils, but that's how she's
No,
supposed
but
to.
that's fine. She's supposed to have green eyes, like,
Right,
like,
but if
just
you-
green.
If you were to smile right now, we take a screenshot. Take your glasses off. Yeah, and take off your pupil. Who
Right.
got the screenshot? I'll do it again. I'll do it.
Dude, I held that for like 2 seconds. You got a screenshot. I'm good. I'm good. I don't even know why the camera's still on me.
Take off your glasses. No, put them back. Put them back.
Wait,
Put
put
'em
them
back.
on or take them off?
No, put Oz back.
Wait, my pants? Oh, wait.
Okay, take off your glasses
Okay.
and do the smile.
Do I keep the hat? You know, for like advertising?
Yeah. Keep the hat. Keep the hat. Tomorrow on Instagram. Tomorrow
How
on
am I
Instagram,
holding this phone?
we're gonna see how like your smile looks weird without pupils. You got to follow us on Instagram
Yeah.
at Instagram.
I don't like that you're using Photoshop now. I mean, I know it's not Photoshop, but
Yeah.
you're using like something. Yeah,
Procreate.
whatever.
So, anybody got anything else they want to say about the comic before we rate it?
I did like the art, and when we were talking about the dialogue, it felt moved the story along really well, and that is
Yeah.
something that you don't see in comics a lot, like unless they're really good comics. And
Mhm.
with DC, it's been a hit or miss. Shit, well, for me with Marvel, has been more miss than hit. So I like that. It feels like when I read comics as a kid, only there's less words, the dialogue means more, and it still feels natural for the characters. And that's what puts this book for me. Like it gives it like 2 extra points. So it's an easy like 4.5. Yeah. The
Yeah,
smile
Tom-
was a little weird, but I think the pupil explains it.
Tom Taylor, I mean, is honestly like one of the writers I look to get good stuff from. And you know, like
Unless you
whether you
like-
say again.
Unless you mistake him for Tom King.
Right, exactly. Which, you know, I didn't mistake him for Tom King. I mistook Tom King for Tom Taylor, and then I was like, when I realized it was Tom King and not Tom Taylor, I was like, oh.
You're pleasantly disappointed.
But right, exactly, because Tom King's great. I'm a fan of Tom King as well. But in my mind, for whatever reason, I was thinking like I was gonna go get to see Tom Taylor, and that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, but you know, Tom Taylor, whether you're talking like Injustice, or like, you know, his run on like Superior Iron Man was awesome. And like right now, dude, that he's doing Dark Knights of Steel, which, you know, I don't know if y'all have kept up with that joint at all, but if you haven't, you should mess with it because that joint's amazing. And so, you know, it's finally coming to a conclusion. But yeah. But I his like even the scenes in this book with Raven and Beast Boy, like that stuff's really interesting to me. Like I don't even know how and when they decide to get together, but I'm invested in that relationship. So that's cool.
Real quick, if I could rate these real quick.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give Titans #1 a 4. I really enjoyed it. I love the writing. It's like seeing old friends again.
Yeah.
And I am going to rate Green Lantern #1 at 3. I don't know. It's fine. But there are other lanterns I would rather keep up with.
They're in the book, or one of them, or two, right?
Yeah, right now I'm on Jessica and Teen Lantern.
Oh, got you. Wow.
Is
There
Teen
it
Lantern
is.
dead? Is she still alive?
I think the teen one is still alive, but I don't know. Jay's like,
I don't even know if Jessica's still yellow.
Yeah.
It's just like
that's a good question. I don't know if we know.
she should be, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Oz, what would you rate Titans #1?
I was gonna say 4, but then it I didn't realize Cyborg had his own book too. And then I started looking at some of the art in the Cyborg book, and that book is a pile.
Oh, jeez.
Just the art. Like I don't know the story. I'm not actually reading it. I just kind of go through it, and like Cyborg in the suit with sunglasses, but he's still Cyborg is like just ridiculous to me. And then the Flash, like in full costume, except he's wearing a suit, so you just see like all the superheroes, like he not when he's wearing his mask, but he's in a suit. It's just, I'm gonna say 3.5. The book is fine. I'm not gonna pick up issue 2, which is already out.
Right.
But I'm sure if you're a Titans fan, you'll enjoy it. You get to see Wally West die once again. Maybe. Yeah, so what did I say? 3? Yeah, I'm good with 3.
Okay. Yeah, I personally I would give it a 3.5. Because I will say I didn't feel like it was necessarily Tom Taylor's like best work, but it was good. It's solid, and especially considering like, the Titans aren't necessarily like some of my favorite DC characters, but Tom Taylor's writing got me invested enough that I actually did read issue 2, and I think you would like issue 2 better, Oz, honestly.
I'm mad that Jay has to leave because of like our terrible capitalist system, but because I want to talk about Beast Boy sleep transforming. Like, I felt like I saw that in a separate, like something else. Like it's a good motif that has been popping up because not every one of us is sleeping well enough in the current state of reality. And it's a good way to express his like anxiety when he's not in his full motor skills. Like I thought that was a good touch for him. I forgot where I saw it, and I thought I had talked to him about it before, or maybe it's a Spaghetti Universe thing, and like I felt like I remembered it, but nah. But Jay's gone, so like,
forever.
Like forever. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk to him in real life. Like, this is
This is. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, this is our alter egos. We don't talk about this in real life. It's like Fight Club.
but I do agree with you. Like it is like the sleep transformation. Definitely, you're right. Conveys the level of anxiety, and the like that scene sets up another scene later that
See, it
really
kind of bugged me though that there's the hey, find out how this happened on this issue. And Jay mentioned that the issue is not out, and I looked it up. It comes out in October. Yeah, that's 4 months out.
I don't mind my comics being non-linear. Like I know he'll come out of it all right. I know Derek might hate it, but it's but it'll
Derek's
be fun.
gonna be around too long.
Probably gonna come out. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be the Titans annual, and that's where you get it. I'm okay with that. Like I read comics in the 90s. That shit happened all the time. And that's what this comic felt like too, like the good 90s comics type. So It's like I said, it's like a George Perez comic. I don't mind that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And besides, I don't know. I guess for me, I was like, again, because I wasn't following Beast Boy's adventures, I'm like, I didn't even know he didn't not had an eye. I was like because it's the footnote that mentions the eye, right? It's not like that gets brought up in the story. They're just like, for those of you that
it's a read this issue for this is how this happened.
Yeah, and so I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, but for me, I'm like, as far as I was concerned, he's always had two eyes. So
the choice of transformation, when depending on what dream he is, he's like a little mouse. Like it's like, can't wait if he has like a porn star dream. Like, what does he turn into?
Well, and what's her face mentions that sometimes he turns into like a porcupine in the middle of the night. Like, that's gotta be
yeah, that sucks. But it makes for a great moment though, where I'm just like, oh, like,
And even like how Nightwing says, like, I wanted the people to see us, but I didn't mean this,
Right, right.
Like, that's a good moment. Like that the moment that you had, and Nightwing, and that's the writing, that's the dialogue. Like, it's the that like thinking, you're thinking of these, as Tom Taylor as a writer is thinking of all these characters in every angle.
Right.
And that's what I love about fucking comics. That's why I say read fucking comics. Because the movies miss this shit. Fucking comics miss this shit. 4.5.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. So, all right, cool. Let's go to Green Lantern. So, yeah, we got one more book. That's it. It's Green Lantern #1. Tell us about it, friend.
It's fine. Okay.
It's fine.
Honestly, Green Lantern #1, like I know that's what we were going to talk about, but you don't get much of what's happening until you read 2.
Okay.
Because it's just kind of Hal Jordan's back on Earth. He's got his power back. They kind of like show how he got it, but actually how I thought he got it is totally different from what actually happened in the book in issue 2, and that actually downgraded the book because there was a moment where in Green Lantern history where Hal Jordan, his willpower was so strong he manifested a ring,
right?
Like he was his own power battery. And at the end of this book, that's what I thought happened. It's like, well, yeah, he's Hal Jordan. He can just manifest the ring and be Green Lantern whenever he wants at this point. But issue 2 explains that that's not exactly what happened. That's what actually happened was he absorbed the energy that was shot at him because the villain in issue 1 was in like a Manhunter outfit.
Yeah.
Right.
Powered by will energy. So it kind of diminished my opinion of this book because now issue 2 has shown me that it's a reboot at this point, where usually the Lantern stuff tends to just kind of move on and don't really care about what gets rebooted. So yeah, it's totally it's rebooted, and I feel like Hal Jordan has been diminished in this
but
series.
is it actually a reboot in the sense, like, because it references the things that have been going on previously, right? In issue 1?
If Hal Jordan, it's one thing for him to quit the Green Lanterns, but the whole before these stories, he was basically a power battery,
right?
And this book suggests that somehow he captured the energy of the Manhunter suit,
right?
And even has a moment where he's like flying and like testing out, like he doesn't understand, like, oh, look, I manifested a ring, I better test it out. See, can I do constructs? Can I do this? Can I do that? And there's one point where it fails on him, like he's in space and it just fails and he's free falling. And so it's him relearning what he can do with this power to manifest the ring, where the Hal Jordan that I know was way past that. Like he knew,
Right.
There was nothing he couldn't do.
Right.
At this point.
Huh.
And
that's interesting. Like I don't understand why that's happening that way.
Right, exactly. And that's how I felt. And it's further now. Look, I understand. Look, we've all read comics for like 50 years at this point. We understand that what we see in the cover doesn't necessarily translate to what's going on.
Right.
Having said that, this is issue 2, and you can see Planet Earth under quarantine. There's one page that feels like was it Hickman that was doing the Power of X stuff?
Yeah,
so he would have those pages with like the translation or kind of like
data pages.
There's one page in here, and I can find it as I talk, where they explain that Earth has been quarantined, which is what it says in the cover, but it's never referenced in the story. The whole story is Hal Jordan trying to figure out how his new ring works. And there's just that one page, and it tells you like there was a decree at some point that the that Earth is being quarantined for whatever reason it is. But it's also the page that kind of tells you like who wrote it and who the artists are.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not even part of the story. And,
no, I agree.
You know, the cover shows Kilowog like making cookies or something, and Kilowog does show up. He's hanging out with Hal Jordan on Earth for some reason. I don't have any idea why he's even on Earth. Like why he's on Earth and he's not powered up. I don't even know if he has a ring. I just know he doesn't like Mountain Dew. That's all I get from this book.
Do you feel when you say you don't know why he's on Earth, you talking about Kilowog or are you talking about
Kilowog?
Oh, okay,
like he's just there, you know, hanging out with Hal Jordan in a trailer because Hal Jordan lives in an RV at this point.
I didn't hold on.
This is issue 2.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because I didn't see him in issue 1.
No, he's not in issue 1. This is issue 2. I'm holding up.
They do reference him talking to him in issue 1, and then it's like the radio. So I'm like, is he talking through the ring or the radio or what?
Yeah, I think that reference is because Kilowog is on Earth.
Yeah.
Neither one of these issues tell me why he's on Earth. I didn't know Kilowog.
The whole thing is they're all quarantined to Sector 2814, right? Like that's the whole.
No,
it's not all of them are quarantined. It's that sector itself is quarantined because they're like Earth's a problem,
right? But the people that were caught in that moment stayed there. Like that's what is like in the opening, the first page. It says like in the little recap, not recap of the book, but like the intro to the book. It says the Green Lanterns were stuck in the quarantine, like a good chunk of them.
No, I don't think that. Oh, does it say that? I don't remember it saying that because
at least that's what I got from I read from it. So it's like there's a bunch of them on Earth, like more than the usual like 4 that guard.
My understanding, and this is like I think it's partially something that I actually read in one of the last Green Lanterns, the last series, is that the Earth Federation's like you know, which was basically like heading up the Green Lantern Corps, right? Or working in conjunction with the Green Lantern Corps, was like that sector is a problem. So we're gonna basically cordon that sector off and we're gonna reassign everybody to other sectors. So there are no Green Lanterns for that sector, and that's what made Hal Jordan quit.
Okay.
And so he decided, well, I'm quitting and I'm going home.
I think most talking about this page, which most people would skip, because again, this is a story by and art by, and then it's up here that it mentions, you know, 2814 has basically been declared like unsafe. Like we're the hood. Earth is the hood of the galaxy. You don't want to go there. It doesn't say there's a quarantine on this one, but it's the same page that tells you there's a quarantine in the next one. So I think that's what Mo was talking about.
All right.
But
Yeah.
the first book, issue 1, is just how he's back on Earth. He needs a job. How does he handle that? Does he's a test pilot. That's what he does.
Mhm.
And does he do good? Does he mess it up? I mean, he's Hal Jordan. You tell me.
Right. I it's interesting because I know for me, like, I've been like I feel like this show has made me a Green Lantern fan. Like, basically like reading the
I don't know
books.
why none of us like Green Lantern at all. And so,
I mean,
I'm just talking about for me.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I disliked Green Lantern beforehand. I'm just saying that I wasn't reading Green Lantern on a regular basis. And because we started doing this show and started reading more Green Lantern books on a regular basis, that along with the quality of those books in that moment, it made me like a person that I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually want to know what's happening with Green Lantern. And, it was very consistent and good for a long time. I mean, like, honestly, like in the last however many years, the only time I could think of where I wasn't really, where I was reading Green Lantern and not enjoying it was that one little, who did the run?
Morrison?
The Morrison run, right.
That was the
Which-
best run.
That was the dark days.
I didn't like it.
It's so good.
But
That's because you like weird. It's just I'm the Green Lantern fan here.
Being weird. Like, you literally like fucking with everything in the galaxy. Like, Green Lantern should be as weird as Star Trek. And it's so plain any other way,
I
There
don't
was
know.
a
Like, I
moment-
like
There's a
Uh-huh.
moment where I had 5 Lantern books, and you can have the weird stuff. You had the orange, was just like, what the hell is going on there? Red was just intense, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you have the weird stuff with Kal Rayner running into like random ass Guardians that had no idea, like they've been isolated for
Mhm.
thousands of years. They have no idea what's going on. So you had all that, but you always had the
Mhm.
main books
Mhm.
that were more traditional superheroes. And now the characters that they focused on changed because the last main before Morrison, the last main Green Lantern book was Crew
Green Lanterns.
and Vaz,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
which was Green Lanterns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh,
hmm
But like
Yeah.
this is the only book we have now, and they throw in a backup story
hmm
that it's
Well,
good.
2, right?
Uh,
2 backup stories.
No, it's just one.
Well, no, you can call it 2
Yeah.
because it has like the John Stewart stuff, and then it also has like the little tidbit with the
rabbit-
like, which feels like I do agree that it is probably just part of the John Stewart one.
Spoiler, they merge in issue 2.
Okay. The art looked different in both. So
Well,
I just
yeah, I get what you mean now that you
Yeah.
say it. Yeah.
It almost feels like an epilogue.
But if it's 2, that's good. Like, that's fine. If it's 1, it's good. That's good too. But are they both in like
Now-
so? Like, 2, you get the John Stewart and the Hal Jordan stories too.
I'm gonna say, look, as much I enjoyed that backup John Stewart story,
Mhm.
but him at home with grandma or whatever, like I got that in the last Green Lantern run with the Teen Lantern or whatever her name is.
Mhm.
Like they did that already, and it just felt like I got to get through this to get to the cool stuff, which with Gardner, I get, or
Mhm.
alternate Gardner or whatever you want to call him.
Variant.
But when you get to alternate Gardner, like that's a Green Lantern story I want to see. Like that's
Mhm.
they're doing stuff. They're doing a lot more than Hal Jordan was doing in this book. Like,
See,
he's
it's
like,
interesting though because I can say that, at least speaking on issue 1, I haven't read issue 2 yet, but like obviously, you don't have you don't have Hal Jordan doing a lot of Green Lantern stuff in issue 1. He does a little bit, but the little bit he does feels like very classic, and I think that that's part of what they were trying to go for, and something that I kind of appreciated, where it was like, oh, this is like a pared down, very classic kind of Hal Jordan thing here, where it's like it's not taking him all the way back to the beginning, but it is like, oh, like him actually trying to get a job as a test pilot is like some classic Hal Jordan stuff, and his relationship with Carol Ferris, and they're the kind of will they won't they kind of thing, like they're like moonlighting ish kind of deal, is interesting. And I'm not saying that I want that in every issue, but if you're like, okay, we're going to do a Green Lantern #1 for someone that's a old or older Green Lantern fan, I kind of was like, oh, like I can appreciate this. This feels like semi-classic, like you're trying to, do a cover of the hits
yeah,
right here.
issue
So-
1 is definitely a good. It's setting up a lot of things. Obviously, it's setting up Hal Jordan back on Earth, and there's even a page that sets up Sinestro. He shows up.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah, you didn't see
An
him?
issue?
Like they're in the bar, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah. I forgot about that.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's just a setup.
Right.
Like, I know
Right.
that Sinestro. I'm not.
Right.
He's like, well, you should know. Like, dude, his eyes are yellow and he's purple.
Yeah. No.
And he's in the hood.
I
So
forgot
it's
about that.
setting up future stuff. Like, obviously,
Mhm.
issue 3 or 4, Sinestro's gonna be like, "Hey, what's up, Hal?"
Mhm.
and
So,
that's
yeah,
what
it's setting up a lot of
reinforced
stuff.
that's what reinforced my quarantine thing, where they're stuck in sector 20, like because he's just there chilling, hiding among the public.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I want to know why he's just chilling like that. Like he doesn't have to obey anything Green Lantern say. He's not a Green Lantern. He's a Yellow Lantern.
Right.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. Like if. Oh, go ahead.
it's set. Issue 1 sets up a lot of things, and issue 1 makes me want to read issue 2, obviously, because I got issue 2.
Mhm.
But could also say that I was going to get issue 2 no matter what. It's my pull list now.
Right.
But yeah, like little setups like that. It's an issue 1. It makes you want to read more.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Cool. What were you gonna say, Mo?
No. It's just the same thing. Like it does. I enjoyed Titans a little better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they reboot or the Hal Jordan stuff, they make them a little less Hal Jordan-y, but they try to give him the wit and all that a little bit instead of being like the space cop thing. But I get like this transition, this way he is. So yeah, I get it. I prefer the other stuff. I prefer the weird shit. So
Gotcha.
because that's even in that like weird story, like that's the like 80s Hal Jordan I prefer. The space cop. The order put in this chaotic universe that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I was like, man, fuck this, I'm out. but really, like that's what I like. And
right.
Anytime they New 52, whatever, like it changes up. Like I was happy when he was dead and just focus on Kyle. And or the other ones, like all the other ones had more personality than he ever had. So it's like you give me this other group, I'm down. He's dead, I'm down. Came back as a Spectre, I love it. I love the Spectre. I love that he's the Spectre. Yeah, and then now he's back as Hal Jordan. Now he's all of a sudden he's a funny guy, a little amalgamation of everybody a little bit, and it's like that you took what he was and then just added all this. That's when I stopped reading Hal Jordan altogether, and I'm like, well, like I'm good. Like I'll focus on Kyle or whatever at the time, but eventually I just stopped focusing on it.
See, it's interesting because I've always seen like Hal Jordan like, and you know, I might be wrong here, but my interpretation of classic Hal Jordan is like the more aloof, like playful kind of guy,
Yeah.
and then like the era, like the 90s and early 2000s era of comics made Hal Jordan harder. You know, like after he had to go through all like the parallax stuff, his personality changed because he had been through some stuff, you know, and you know, everything got edgier in the 90s, right? And then on top of that, you had like after that, he became like kind of like the center of the yeah, you know, him after him coming back to life and whatnot, becomes the center of like the Green Lantern universe, but like literally from almost on a cosmic perspective. So it was like the whole world was like on this fool's shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're talking about like this fool was literally like kind of like leading the whole core. You know what I mean? So it's like he didn't have the ability to be the more playful kind of guy because the stakes were too high for him all the time for everything he does. And it kind of feels like that's why this reboot's kind of interesting because it's like almost like back to basics where it's like Green Lantern as like not the space cop but just like the superhero. You know? And I'm like, oh, that's different.
That's where I was spoiled, I guess, because the stuff I like to read was the Green Lantern, Green Arrow stuff, where Oliver Queen was the aloof one, and he was and
straight
he was
man.
Yeah, so that's the shit I liked a lot as a kid. You know, just the buddy cop, but still, it's like you got your it's like Lethal Weapon, like those comics are like Lethal Weapon, literally, and you know, it's like I'm about for retirement, McGarnacle, you know,
right?
But shit like that, you know, but you know, they have real good stories, and it was like a little space fairy too, kind of like Star Trek, where you're dealing with different alien races and different more sci-fi concepts as well, but like Green Arrow's dealing with him, and he's like, like he's still going by the stuff from Earth, you know, like his concept of morality from Earth as opposed to the more abstract ideas that Hal Jordan has to find order in as an Earthling, but has jurisdiction being space, you know, and that like so for me, like reading this one right here, it's like I'm good, you know,
it's too pared down for you.
Yeah, but realistically, he's been pared down like that for 35 years for me. So you know, like,
gotcha.
Yeah, like I loved reading like the John Stewart book Mosaic. Like was it Green Lantern Mosaic? Like I love that because that was more like that, and he had the personality. It's like you give me somebody with interesting personality that's Green Lantern, I'll read anybody but Hal Jordan. You know. Like I love Guy Gardner, you know, like because I never looked to Hal Jordan as a little kid. I never looked to Hal Jordan for that. I looked to Spider-Man for that. You know, he was never a Spider-Man for me. You know,
gotcha.
But I guess I can see how like him being that would make him better for other people to read. But I had other people for that already. Like, you know,
right. You don't need that from him.
Yeah.
Yep. So, should we go ahead and rate this book?
Yeah.
So why don't you hit us off, man? What would you rate Green Lantern #1?
I'm probably gonna go with 4. The art is fine. The story's good. Any issues that I have are just me, you know, like not a lot of people care about Jessica Cruz or Baz or Stewart, even though he was the head of the Green Lantern Corps. You know, Guy Gardner. Like I want to know more about everybody, and I'm hoping that we'll get that information in this book. Like I said, they set up Sinestro, who's obviously my favorite, and if Cruz is still a Yellow Lantern, like that could all come into play. I wish I just wish it was the days when I had 5 of these books and I could like just enjoy every character. But this is all we have, and you know what? It's not that bad. So 4, obviously I'm a fan, and I'm gonna keep reading these Green Lantern books.
Most Magnum.
My next, well, I guess my review can't be dependent on this, but I do have a question for you, Oz. Does issue 2 have the backup stories like they continue in issue 2 as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, I would give this book 4.5. Like the characters.
You rated higher than us.
Well, no, 'cause I still enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the jumping, the jumping between time periods, especially because it shows that they got a bigger plan for this. So, I like that aspect of it. I liked, the aloof. Hal Jordan's not my favorite, but the art I really enjoyed a lot. I really love the art, and more importantly, I love the colors. Like they do this like 80s neon like retro color palette in like half of the book, but it isn't like overdone, oversaturated. It's subtle. So it's like it's a new way of doing that 80s neon style in a subtle way. I think is beautiful for this book. It's looking at it was beautiful, and then the art in the backup story was good. The story was good, like to the point where I had 2 stories in that second story. I thought it was 2 stories. Like, I'm in like that. I would love to read the second one. I'll put up with that Hal Jordan to keep reading that second story, because that again, as Hal Jordan-y as he was in this, like how for you guys, that second story had a little more soul. And I'm not talking about the black people. I'm talking about the weird alien people. Like it's like that one page was like, oh, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
Backup page.
Yeah.
Like, that's the weird. That's the weird. That's the Star Trek-y shit. That's what I like from those spacefaring Green Lantern books that Neil Adams did.
Okay, cool. I'd give it 3.5. I liked it. I'm definitely want to see where it goes. But it's interesting because it is like it's way scaled down from where the Green Lanterns, like the stories that we were getting, which was like, I guess what felt like not, only a few months ago, but still it's like, I'm interested. So I'm ready to go on the ride. I'm hoping it'll get better, ratchet it up a little bit. So cool.
You wanted to start twerking?
I wanted to start twerking. Yes. Like hands on the knees.
Singing to Live Crew.
Right. There it is. Don't stop. Get it.
Nobody knows what the Live Crew is. That's like a 50-year-old reference.
Right. They're like it's an old man podcast.
Yeah, they're like Cardi B with cocks.
Two Live Crew is like Cardi B with cocks. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I'm not wrong.
All right. Right. All right. Oscar, final thoughts, man.
Superman and Lois introduced Lex Luthor, and it's
damn it.
What's the face? The redhead from Walking Dead.
Daryl?
No, redhead. He had like the handlebar mustache.
Abraham.
Oh, is he bald?
Yeah, he's bald.
Okay.
Although he's got like a huge beard because he's been in prison for several years.
Yeah, the comics did that for a while.
As much as they bastardize a lot of characters and do a lot of stupid stuff that's not Superman stuff, it's still a good show. I can't believe I'm enjoying it as much as I am.
It's written well, man. It's just written well. But anyway, Most Magnum. Final thoughts.
Speaking of Walking Dead, I tried watching Dead City.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's not good.
Is that the one with the
that's
woman?
Maggie and Negan, right?
Yeah, that's Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yeah, in an urban New York Gotham setting, it's I don't know if it's Emily and I had a weird analysis discussion about it where like we don't know if it's because we don't know what's going on or if it's just not compelling. And I think it's just not compelling. Like I didn't know what was going on season 2 and 3 of Fear the Walking Dead, but I still enjoyed those seasons out of context, you know?
But you're watching episode 1 of a new show, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're
like,
watching. Yeah,
I jumped
episode
in
1.
2 seasons into like Fear the Walking Dead, and it was compelling. And this isn't. Like, there's something wrong. I'm gonna cancel my AMC Plus.
Did it seem like they were gonna bone? Because I heard people wanted them to bone, even though like
crazy,
he killed her man.
Yeah,
people are dumb, and they want shit like that. Like they think they're supposed to because they're a male and a female, and it's because the people watching it either want to be fucked by Jeffrey Dean Morgan or fuck Jeffrey Dean Morgan or fuck Maggie or be fucked by Maggie. The people that think that are they're watching the show because of that. They're not watching it. It's a good zombie drama that's subversive to the genre. They're watching for the action, and that's why we get The Walking Dead we did, and we get The Walking Dead comics we did. You know, it's a different group of people. You know,
I mean, if Jeffrey Dean Morgan showed up, like, happy Pride Month, everybody.
Hey, look, just as Daddy Winchester, like I'll give him my mom. You know.
Oh my God!
Wow. I'll offer my mom up to him. Yeah, he's like, I have a Winchester brother. Yeah, sure.
They had that reunion too. Like I was really expecting him and the mom to go ahead.
But on. You know, but I mean, you know, it's not. That's not what I go to Walking Dead for. Yeah.
Fair. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Until then, you know, like, subscribe, hit the notification, all that jazz. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. We're Fantastic Forum. Good night.
I didn't even get to do my final thought. I was just vamping on what Oz said about.
I thought banging Jeffrey Dean Morgan was your final thought.
That wasn't my final thought.